What you say?
And I suppose that she knows that I'm almost famous. Neck bang bang, and we dangerous remaining. Time steady changing. I don't know these niggas, and I don't wanna know them. This girl just want that big moment, so she can blow it. That's bogus, but I don't tell her what's what. Don't wanna be stuck, cause she's so starstruck. Wanna be around us, but I just rather play the field, rather keep it real, rather take you out, rather tell you how I feel, and show you that this game is for real. Cause I know that you're in love, you're looking for a star. Walked all this way to find a man with a car, hanging at the bar, champagne, caviar. No, you never seen a nigga like this, like this. You never seen a nigga like this, like this. Girl, you never seen a nigga like this, like this. You never seen a nigga like this, like this. Girl, you never seen a nigga like this. So quit it, you spend seconds, hours, minutes working on your fitness for a nigga to witness. Go quit it, I ain't tripping. You ain't the baddest bitch I'll ever meet. The homie said he already be in the backseat of a Honda Jeep. For the loyal shit you can really keep him so cold on him, so cold on him. Few homies in the feds, cause bitch niggas done told on him. Seen them boys in the streets and did a lot more than just stole on them. Niggas know the pen when they feel the heat of that stove on them. Send the hell the Lord don't want them. Funny girls from church Sunday morning, Saturday was out pouring. Show me a worthy opponent, show me a match. No nigga, I face mine. Now my mind, no hang time. That's MJ on the baseline. Girl, I know that you're in love, you're looking for a star. Walked all this way to find a man with a car, hanging at the bar, champagne, caviar. No, you never seen a nigga like this.
Wanna see my cars on flatbeds. Hey, this is a recession, selling that crack, yeah. Niggas selling suicide one bionic glue, and got Superman powers with a trash new. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. Yeah. John Dillinger shit. Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. Yeah. John Dillinger shit. Niggas in the hood wanna see my cars on flatbeds. Hey, this is a recession, selling that crack, yeah. Niggas selling suicide one bionic glue, and got Superman powers when I'm stressed new. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga.
Greetings, Black family. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Front Line Blacc News. I'm your host, Che Nkrumah, and Lady Che will be joining us here shortly, our other host. And we are also joined with our West Coast correspondent, Shabaka Sankoria, Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, which I am the co-executive producer of and co-host of. Greetings, Shabaka. Greetings from the Mile High Income City. How is the Sin City treating you?
Oh man, it's full of sin, full of heat. You know what I'm saying? Vegas is booming. It's about the tangibles, as you were saying. We got to do for self. You know what I mean? And I'm just putting it out there. If we can get some investors, man, you probably might want to start opening up some of these casinos out here. And I do know that there are those, who are opposed to gambling, which I understand. Also, too, next weekend, you're going to have one of the biggest fights in the history of the sport between Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. And this is the biggest fight since Ray Leonard fought Thomas Hearns way back in 1981. And I can't pick a winner on it. But I do have the Las Vegas Review here tonight of where there's
give us an update, Shabaka, because we're not going to have time to get to the Tupac situation. So give us an update while we're waiting on Lady Che to join us, and then I got to do the introduction.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir. Only thing I could say is that the Las Vegas Police Department or the Metropolitan Police Department, that they had, hold on here. Okay, well, here it is right here. Computers, cartridges seized, items taken from Henderson home in Shakur probe. Authorities removed more than two dozen items from a Henderson home related to the investigation of the 1996 shooting death of the rapper Tupac Shakur, including computers, iPads, bullet cartridges, and evidence of street gang involvement, according to a copy of the warrant obtained by the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Also, too, here in the state of Nevada, I'm just putting it out there that there is no statute of limitations on murder cases here. Okay, the warrant also requested photos, books, documents, and other items, including writings about Shakur. The documents state the Metropolitan Police. Okay, go on here, just bear with me. Okay, 7A. Okay. All right, 7A. Okay, just bear with me. I know I should have had this stuff, better prepared than this. Okay. But here we go. I'm going to try to get through it as quick as possible because, we definitely got to talk about that punk down there in Florida. And he's picking off Kamala Harris. Talk about that punk down there in Florida. All right. The Las Vegas Police Department requested the warrant on Saturday and obtained permission from a district judge to search the residence of Dwayne Keith Davis, 60, on Maple Shade Street in Henderson, based on the document. And as you know, Henderson is a city on the outskirts of Las Vegas.
Yes.
Just like Aurora is to
before you hit the
Denver.
Hoover Dam.
Huh?
It's right before you hit the Hoover Dam.
Yes. Okay. Items taken by investigators from Davis's abode included a desktop computer, 4 laptops, 3 iPads, an iPhone, and a 500 gigabyte hard drive, a tablet, a USB drive, 11.40 caliber cartridges, a copy of Davis's co-written book, Compton Street Legend, and Vibe magazine article, and a Vibe magazine article on Shakur. Davis in the book discussed the Shakur shooting and his life as a drug boss with the Los Angeles street gang, the Southside Compton Crips. Other items removed by police included 2 black tubs of photographs, other various photos, and an amount of purported MJ, or marijuana they got here, according to the document. The warrant was executed at the home on Monday. The document stated neighbors have said police arrived at the home that evening. The document, which also names Davis as DeAndre Keith Davis, reveals that Las Vegas police sought photos, movies, CDs, writing, or other documentation showing Dwayne Keith Davis, a.k.a. Keefe D involvement with the Southside Compton Crips, okay, which would be out of Los Angeles County. Police also wanted to look for personal property, bills, receipts establishing the identity of persons in control of the house on Maple Shade Street. The warrant further indicated that police were seeking evidence related to those involved in the death of Shakur. It stated police wanted items that tend to show evidence of motive and or identity of the perpetrator, such as photographs and underdeveloped film, insurance policies and letters and addresses and telephone records, diaries, and other documents where such items are written, typed, or stored on computer disks. District Judge Jacqueline Bluth wrote that she was satisfied there was probable cause to permit a search of the home and acknowledged that this is not a no-knock search warrant, meaning the police would not enter the place without notifying the residents. Davis revealed he had connection to Shakur's killing in 2018 in the Netflix documentary Unsolved, the Tupac and Biggie murders. And in the book he published in 2019, he indicated that he was in the car with the shooter who killed Shakur. A synopsis of the book on Amazon.com claims that it would provide the missing piece of the puzzle that hip-hop fans have been waiting for about the slaying of Shakur. But at the end of the day, none of the private investigators, retired police officers, informants, hip-hop heads, actors, and or academics that have weighed in on the topic truly know what happened and the reasons behind it, because none of them were there, the summary said. Shakur died at age 25 on September 13th, 1996, after he was shot 5 days earlier. Earlier at the intersection of the Flamingo Road and Covo Lane. I know where that intersection is. Okay, the rapper was leaving.
Yeah, that was the intersection. Isn't that close to Tropicana?
Yes, sir, it is. And it's right by the MGM Grand. The rapper was leaving the MGM Grand after the Mike Tyson versus Bruce Seldon heavyweight fight when he was shot 4 times while in his BMW with Death Row Records founder Suge Knight. Okay. The BMW was stopped at a red light when a Cadillac pulled up next to it, and someone from the Cadillac fired several rounds into Shakur's BMW. Davis's nephew, Orlando Anderson, had gotten into a fight with Shakur the same night he was killed. The same type of gun used in the shooting was found in a duffel bag in the backyard of the girlfriend of one of Anderson's close friends. The bag had a Las Vegas mailing address inside of it. Anderson died at age 23 in a gang-related shooting in 1998. He had been briefly named as a suspect in the shooting investigation before his death in 1998, according to reports from the Los Angeles Times and Esquire. So the plot thickens here in that. And then, of course, condolences to, the Shakur family and on the passing of Tupac. And then, of course, as we do know that Afeni, his mom, she passed away a few years later, a few years ago, actually, years later, over in Marin County. And if you've been to the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, then Marin County or Marin County is the county when you cross into the when you cross the Golden Gate Bridge going north. And as soon as you cross off over there, you're going to start seeing the signs over there to a famous institution that has been sitting there since 1852 called San Quentin.
Lady Che is joining us.
Hey, Lady Che, I hear you're not feeling too good
right now.
Why don't you go to the doctor?
It's because the apartment I have has mice, and they won't come and fucking take care of it because I'm really, really virus prone. mice, like the dander from them and the germs, it's really
Oh
bothering my lungs.
shit.
It's gonna kill me.
Okay, call the health department on their ass.
Yeah. We need
Put in a thing, and then they lied and said they came. The maintenance came, and they didn't come at all. They lied. They
Mhm.
lied because they raised
Right,
the rent like $300, and then they want to tell me I still owe money for the voucher. It's like this fucking place is a fucking dive, like an absolute dive. It's like so far Jesse found like my brother got rid of like 12, and then he found another three. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah,
oh,
so
okay,
we
so
just
which means
we're
is
like a
that they
three
got a
team.
den somewhere.
Yeah, they're coming
Yeah,
out the
Yeah, they
vents.
got a yeah, they got a den in there somewhere, which is in your walls. You know
Yeah,
what
the
I'm
den.
saying?
Her apartment faces the dumpster, so they're coming from
so
outside,
Yeah,
and they're doing all this
yeah,
construction over here. I don't know if you've been on this part of Aurora, but it's right on the border of Denver and Aurora, like Montview. And
right,
there used to be a
right.
shopping center, all black shopping center. They tore that down, and now they're putting high
Okay,
rise condominiums. So it's rushing all the
uh,
wildlife from that area over here.
right,
yeah,
right. Yeah, which would
I keep
include
saying that.
mice and
Yeah, I keep telling them that
yeah,
I can't get sick. That I got a heart and lung condition, and so all that dander and stuff has been building up for like I was telling them for like 3 months, And my brother got rid of as many as he could, so we were in the Jesse's in the room and doing like a deep clean, like cleaning the walls and um
right,
the rails and everything. It took everything out, so that, vacuum and shampoo the rugs and whatnot, just to get rid of the dander. But it's everywhere. It was everywhere because they don't have no barrier. They don't have no they don't have no boundaries. They just fucking invade your space all over. So you think you're sleeping, they could be right there looking at you on your pillow. You know what I mean? Like that's really
yeah,
what it is.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
woke
So
up with
what
a
you need
motherfucking
is a
mouse
baby
staring at me from my
panther in
chair.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, you need your baby panther
you
in
need
there. Get your
Sparkle,
black cat in
you
there.
need Brother Isaiah's cat,
Huh?
need either Noche, Sister Bianca's cat.
She said no. She said, well, she won't let me drug him to bring him over here. And then you gotta
Or
get a regular
or
No,
or
cat.
no,
Sparkle,
you got to have the
Brother
pretty.
Isaiah's
You
cat.
got to have the Yeah, you got to have the pretty kitty over there. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it's
Because
Jesse's job to go get
yeah,
a
you need
cat.
a
He
black
been
cat.
slacking. Slacking, cuz.
Yeah, yeah, you need a
Fault.
black cat to go over in there. Name one of them. Yeah, get you three black cats. Name one of them Fred. Name one of them Huey, and name one of them Little Bobby. You know
A
what
little
Yeah,
I'm
Bobby.
saying? Yeah, yeah. If you know what I'm talking about. Then also
Yeah.
too, that I recently learned here off of the West Coast is that the monument that they have up to Dr. Newton. Okay, Dr. Newton was killed right across the street from that house. Brother Che, that you showed me on the news
yeah.
when I went out there. Okay. And then another thing too, I want to bring up that I recently saw Professor PLO Lumumba. Okay. Yeah, he's going in on these damn Europeans, man, on the colonization of Africa.
Yeah.
Okay. It's because the dump
Hold on,
as
Shabaka.
in human.
Shabaka, hold
Yes,
on.
sir.
I still haven't got to the intro. Thank y'all for
Oh,
tuning in
I'm
to
sorry.
season 3, episode 16 of the Front Line Blacc News. I'm your host, Che Nkrumah. We are joined with the other host, Lady Che. Thank you for joining us. West Coast correspondent, Shabaka Sankori. And on tonight's show, we'll be discussing several things. One of them, our West Coast correspondent already alluded to. But the first thing is tangibles. This is a year and a decade of tangibles. We are demanding something tangible for our vote. So any politician that's seeking your vote, demand something tangible for your vote. Lady Che has officially announced that she's running for Aurora City Council at large, and including her. Demand something tangible for your vote, Black family. The days are over of us just voting just to be voting. The days are over of us voting because the white-owned media fear-mongered us with their propaganda into voting blue no matter who. We're going to vote. with an agenda and a cause. And that cause and that agenda is the Black agenda. And that cause is reparations, $100 trillion for past, present, and future atrocities this United States government, this corporation known as the USA, continues to put us, our people, through in 2023. So back in 2020, our good FBA brother, Tariq Nasheed out of Los Angeles, California, came out with the hashtag Tangibles 2020. And in it, he was detailing everything that we, as foundational Black Americans, those that can trace their lineage back to the killing fields of the South, of the Southern United States, via chattel slavery, we're going to demand from the two-party system.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to go over that. And the only thing that's changed is the year, Black family. Everything else remains.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Without a doubt.
First them, and then Tangibles 2020. It's first them.
Yes.
If you recall, with the Me Too movement, they tried to paint Black men in high places and in Hollywood as predators. So we came up with the hashtag First Them to redirect the focus onto them, meaning the white dominant society. So here on Tangibles 2020, the only thing that's changed is the year, Black family. So back then it was 2020 and we had the presidential elections coming up. Now it's 2023 and the next presidential elections are in 2024. So the 2024 presidential elections are coming up. And foundational Black Americans, i.e. us, i.e. Descendants of American chattel slavery, freedmen, are going to reject the 50-year-old malign neglect policy that has been implemented by the political system. This malign neglect policy mandates that Black Americans should be ignored and only mentioned in vague and non-specific terms, lumping foundational Black Americans into groups with minorities, immigrants, people of color, etc., has only hindered the progress of Black Americans as a group while providing tangible benefits for other groups. In this election cycle, Black Americans are going to insist that our needs are specifically met by politicians who are seeking our vote. Foundational Black Americans want tangible benefits, specifically for us. We do not want trickle-down, secondary benefits that are provided for every group. Every group has not been systematically marginalized and disenfranchised in every area of society as foundational Black Americans. So we refuse to be lumped in with groups who often assist in the exploitation and disenfranchisement of Black Americans. So politicians must offer tangibles, specifically the foundational Black Americans, or we simply will not vote for them. Be sure to spread this message far and wide on social media using the hashtag Tangibles2020.
It's here, Tess. It's here.
Okay. All right. Hold it down, Lady Che and Shabaka. I gotta get this pizza.
Sorry about that, Ellie.
What are your thoughts? Go ahead.
My thoughts about tangibles. I'm ready for city council, so just a second, cuz. Oh my god, cuz it always gets up because of it. Thank you. Thank you, brother. As you expect tangibles. Even when I'm ready for office, I have to offer you something tangible for your vote. We can't accept symbolism. In 2023, which I like to call the Black year, right? And it's Black from now on. This is the time where we have to be so fucking serious. Apply pressure to everybody who's running for office. They can't just give you pretty words and comfort comfort pacifying fucking ideas, um, it's not gonna work. This is also the year, the decade of the fucking third party candidate, where the two parties have already decided to implode. This is what we've been waiting for, family.
Yes.
We've been waiting for this shit to happen. Now we just got to get the guy on code. You know what I mean? But we've been waiting for this to
Yeah.
happen. We've been waiting. We always see this nothing but coons fucking try to take us for a ride. They've all had their day in the sun, family, and they failed us. The Democratic Party has fucking failed us. They committed fucking
Right.
like political suicide when they want to deny us reparations, and they want to offer it to everybody else. All of a sudden, Native Americans never got it. All of a sudden, all of a sudden, this whole time, right? Well, what the fuck have they been living on for this fucking I don't know how many decades?
They've been living off of
I've been
Yeah.
living
That, and
on
then
Black Americans, and so even me,
yeah, and
hold on, Chewbacca, hold on one second. Even me, who's running
mhm.
for political office, if I only care about our people and I want our people to rise up, right? I can't offer you intangible ideas. I have to offer you something tangible that's going to benefit our people here where I'm at. Everybody has had their representatives, and the city has failed. The city has a high crime rate in my opinion, right where I'm at. Our city, the crime out of control. The police way out of control. They cry and
Mhm.
everybody just believes whatever they say, but they're way out of hand. But it's all on the media. It's all whatever the city council says. It's all whatever they want you to hear through the media. Till you go outside,
Right.
nobody knows what's going on. And I go outside, so I'm telling the people, even me, don't let the shade deflect the message. I'm offering you tangibles, and if I can't fucking do it, I'll find someone who can. Simple as that. Because at this point in time, we can't afford foundational Black Americans cannot afford to be let down anymore. We can't afford to be simply pacified and shoved under the rug. At this point in time, this is the decade of the third party candidate, and this is a black year. It's going to be black from now on. We just got to keep standing on it and applying pressure. We can't let Gavin Newsom get away with his bullshit. We can't let anybody else
Right.
hide the fact that reparations are owed, and it's not a fucking study anymore.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing to study. There isn't a fucking thing to study. It's there. The harms are there no matter what they delete or erase off of fucking Google. It's there. It's been there, and everybody knows it. And we can't let AI fucking replace us like they've been doing.
Right.
So this is
That
the
part.
year. And every year it'll continue to go. We're in it for the long haul, family. They've been playing with our minds in our fucking games. They've been playing these games for fucking generations now. And now we gotta be either get with the program and fight or get out of the way and let motherfuckers fight for it. Simple as that, but you can't join the bandwagon after the fact. You can't be cooning now, and then when all the fucking work is done, then you want to be a fucking revolutionary. It's not gonna fucking happen. We'll call you out. We'll tell you to
Right.
work with us. We'll do all that because that's just the way it is. We're putting in the fucking work now. So you either put in the fucking work or get the fuck out of the way. Because all this LGBTQ, all these people passing fucking legislation, changing the fucking the
Right.
rhetoric to their agenda, that's a no go too. That's a no pass given. White supremacy, no passes
That
given.
part.
Anybody else, any fucking other agenda that isn't black, no passes given until you get what is fucking owed, which is reparations and tangible fucking solutions to live your fucking life and not, not in poverty like they want us to.
Right.
Do you keep on their helmet? That's all I gotta say.
Yes, ma'am. And then also too, I'm addressing a punk by the name of Ron De Panties.
Hold
Yeah,
on, Shabaka.
Ron.
Hold on, Shabaka. That's our next topic. You're jumping the
Okay.
gun just a little bit. What are your thoughts on the
Okay.
channel?
Oh, absolutely. The tangibles, indeed. The tangibles. are needed is because that is the only way that we're going to build some infrastructure, number one. Also, two, we got to have land, okay? Number three, we've got to have innovation. We got to have high tech as well, too, to countermand this bullshit that they're coming with out of Silicon Game Valley, okay? And over the research that I've been doing with this artificial intelligence, I think it's going to be to the point where the artificial intelligence is going to be taking over everything else. Now, here's what's going to happen. This is my prediction. The more reason for the tangible. So when the artificial intelligence takes over, you're going to have all these damn white liberals coming up to us saying, oh, well, you know, we need to be with everybody, you know, to quote the Renaissance man. Renaissance man, if you're out there listening, get with me, brother. I would love to have your guest on the platform, Black Experience in hand. It's because what happens, like the Joe Gibsons and what have they talk that bullshit. Well, you see, that's just the elite. Motherfucker, there ain't no black elite. Oh, Oprah Winfrey, she's not an elitist. She's on Puppet Springs. You know what I'm saying? All the black actors out there, they're on puppet strings. You see what I mean? What we got to do is control some damn banks, some financial institutions. We got to have land. We got to have our own infrastructures of means of production and distribution for ourselves. We got to have medical personnel put together and scientific personnel to countermand this GMO, Bill Gates bullshit that they're trying to put out here. And then these sons of bitches are sitting up here, you know, trying to kill us and exterminate us. And they are hiding behind the shield of the World Health Organization, like old Fauci, you know what I'm saying? And then not to mention the fact that they was trying to get us to take that shit first. If you remember when the COVID hit, you know, the first thing they did, it was targeted Hollywood's black entertainers. Oh yeah, sing a rap song to get black.
Well, remember, Shabaka, that we weren't even catching it initially.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? But there was one doctor who did catch it, and the doctor did say it on her deathbed because she did a live feed, okay? And that she was saying is that this shit is diabolical and there's more to it than this damn vaccine. You know, it's the nanotechnology that Captain Sparks, and you know who he is, that he is talking about. They will inject you with this shit, okay? And then if they don't dig what you're saying, okay, then they got a kill switch in, man. Mm-hmm. Because like I said, and I've said this here many times on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. I said it on here on Front Line Blacc News and on other platforms, is that why do you have so many biotechnical firms over there in Silicon Game Valley? And that ain't no coincidence. No. You see what I'm saying? So Zuckerberg and the rest of you, sorry, fucked over there. If you want to go up there and spin me again, so be it, okay? It's because, like I said, I'm not that ass scratcher. I'm not that yassa boss. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And what happened? And that fucking governor of Florida, the Panties, the punk.
Hold on, Shabaka, that's the next
topic. I'm jumping the gun.
So
okay, sorry, I don't mean to. No, sir, not yet. Okay, just two more paragraphs, please. Okay, also too with the tangible land. Okay, our own industry. Okay, also too our place where we could be movers and shakers in the world market of raw materials. But this is why it's so serious and so important for us to make the reconnection with the ancestral continent. Is because going back to tradition is the first step forward. Concept of Sankofa. Yep. And then you Boers over there in Azania, okay, y'all are not Africans, okay? Y'all are lowered in shit in the toilet. And I want to make that very, very clear. And that's why I'm going to start referring to them as the dump, as in human shit. That is what the Boers are of Azania. Mm-hmm. And look at that punk up there in England, King Charles, all them jewels and stuff the Rothschilds got. Mm-hmm. You know, just like they said in the movie Wakanda, you know, Killmonger. No, this is stuff he stole it from Africa. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You're not the rightful owner of it. Right. You see what I mean? And then for those who are of the opinion saying that we were in Americas before we were in Africa, well, I'm doing research on it and it's contradicting you guys real tough. And here's the contradiction. And as you know, Brother Che, I've traveled in every state here, damn near in the Western United States. Okay, I've been across the lands of Montana and Arizona and Idaho, and I have seen the indigenous people here. But the indigenous women do not have the curvature of that C curve like the sisters do. Okay?
Well, you seen the $5 Indians and the redskin natives, but we cannot neglect the fact that there were Black Native Americans, and there's still Black Native Americans. They got reclassified as Negroes.
Okay, now I did see a breakdown of a chart, you know, on the classification of that. I forgot the brother who had put it up there from 1619, then he went on there from 1970, then he went to 1870 or what have you. And what it is that we still have to look at the fact that,
I was just talking to
okay, and we
go ahead, Shabba.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir. And we still have to look at the fact is that there was the slave ports of Charleston, South Carolina, of New Orleans, Louisiana, of St. Petersburg, Florida. You see what I'm saying? And then, you know, these race riots where they killed us, like in Tulsa, like in Rosewood, and what would you say the name of that city was in Florida? Ocee, O-C-E-E. And if I recall,
Ocala.
Yeah, okay. I believe I had been through that city when I was down there in Florida. And when I was in Florida, fortunately, it was the winter months. It was warm, and I felt that air getting sticky. And I said, I could just imagine this here 6 months from now in the summer months. So give me this desert, you know what I'm saying? And
where's
like
100? What did it hit last week? 120 degrees?
Yes, sir. And we had 112 today. Okay, we had 115 a few days ago. I just came in from outside. It's every bit still over 100 degrees here at nighttime. And then, as you do know, and you guys got rain in Colorado. I saw some clouds out here today. So
yeah, that was yesterday. We didn't have no rain today.
Okay, well, send some rain over this way. Send the clouds to block this sun. You know what I'm saying? It's not because of the sunburn. It's just the heat factor. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
drink plenty of water of what I'm doing.
There's a big high pressure ridge planted over the Great Basin.
Oh, okay. And the Great Basin would be the Mojave Desert. Okay. And this is what we're in the middle of, all out here in the West. All the desert that you see out in the Western United States, New Mexico, Arizona, California, Nevada, let's see, parts of Idaho, yeah, and Utah, yeah, that there's the Great Basin. And at one time it's theorized that it was the ocean at one time. And I could, yeah, because I could see with the Great Salt Lake City, that's why they got salt there, because that's salt flats, and only ocean water has salt in it. Okay, Lake Mead, you know, I think Lake Mead is barely hanging on, so the city of Los Angeles is still stealing your water off the Colorado River. You know what I'm saying? Because the city of LA had a lease on Hoover Dam for 50 years and whatnot. And Los Angeles, you know, it's full of a lot of its shenanigans. As far as the strike out there in Hollywood with the actors and the screenwriters and all that, you guys might as well go find you another job, because I got reason to believe, and I'm seeing slight indicators, what they're going to do with all you motherfuckers out there with that land of make-believe. They're going to tear up your union cars. They're going to kick you to the fucking curb, and they're just going to have artificial intelligence make it. You see what I'm saying? That's what's going to happen, because Netflix is right over there by the Screen Directors Guild. You know what I'm saying? Which is right straight down Vine Street, Brother Che. When I did the live feed off at HB, I went in front of
I'm glad they're on strike.
Chinese.
I'm glad everybody's on strike. Everybody needs to be on strike right now.
Yeah, and then keep in mind, Lady Che, the garbage that they are projecting of us as the people, I'm highly offended. Like I said, okay, go look at a movie made in 1957 called Band of Angels, starring a woman by the name of Yvonne DiCarlo. For those in my age group, you'll know that Yvonne DiCarlo used to do a character on an NBC TV series in the 1960s called The Munsters, where she was Dracula's daughter. Also, too, Yvonne DiCarlo had played in a movie called Band of Angels. Okay, she also had played in the Ten Commandments, where she was Moses' wife. Okay, and then not to mention in Hollywood, where they made the movie with the ancestor who recently transitioned, Harry Belafonte, called Carmen Jones, and Dorothy Dandridge. She was a star in the film, but all them white boys passed her around, just like they did Michelle Nichols, who did Star Trek series and what have you. And if anybody doubts what I'm saying, and you clowns from Hollywood are welcome to give me a call at 516-418-5996 next Tuesday on Shabaka's Black Expansion. And then all those ghetto gags that they have out there making them adult films, getting their audition. Okay. They've been passed around too and kicked to the curb, strung out on drugs. One of the Kardashian girls had black girls with collars around their necks, hooked up to leashes like they were dogs. You see what I'm saying?
Remember Snoop did that? Remember Snoop did something like that too? Like,
he did?
Years ago, he had a video.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And it was a video shoot, and he had the women with collars on their necks, like dogs.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that Snoop did that. You know what I'm saying? But that's Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? It's its own planet. Anything can go down there. You know what I mean? In Los Angeles, anything can happen there. And then also too.
Oh shit! It's the Anchorman.
Oh, you got the Anchorman.
Front Line campaign, what it do, what it does, what it is, what it was.
All right.
It's a kid.
The Anchorman.
Going with our with our political prisoner, Ramel Understanding, who is a political prisoner in the Cardinal State Mental Hospital. Greetings. We're just finishing up tangibles, Ramel. What are your thoughts on tangibles?
It was up on the check right now. Stop playing. You know what it is. We ain't got time for all the small talk. We only got time for one tall bullshit walk. It's either
right
or else. We're going to walk.
Well, that part.
All right, so I'm going to move us on to the next topic.
Right.
The next topic, Black family, is drum roll. Florida Governor Ron De Panties. I apologize. We had another story that we were supposed to discuss about North Carolina. The brother had to reschedule, so we're not going to be able to reach that topic tonight, Brother Azriel. But yeah, we definitely are supporting the brother and what he's dealing with in North Carolina. But the next topic,
he's welcome to come on Shabaka's Black Experience and too on.
What's he dealing with? What did we miss?
He was supposed to come on and discuss it, but it's something about violation of his civil and constitutional rights.
Oh
yeah, I saw something up there on his wall about that. Yeah. And he's welcome, to come on Shabaka's Black Experiences Enhanced as well, too, on our podcast on Tuesday night. Okay, we're going to be going into pre-production on that episode there tomorrow, Brother Che. But however, if you got something you want to put together, man, and get on a computer before I do, by all means, put it up.
Okay.
And but also, too, is that I guess we're going to go down there to the Sunshine State, where that punk ass stinking governor who wears women's underwear, the panties.
Hold on, Shabaka.
Okay.
Shabaka.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Professor Blacc Truth.
I got to introduce it. So, Florida Governor Ron De Panties, otherwise known as Ron the Satan, wants to teach black people, that black people benefited from slavery in Florida schools. The caudacity. Talking about we got skills and we learned trades. So it was beneficial for us.
Yeah.
There was nothing beneficial about being whipped night and day, being raped, castrated, hung.
Wow.
This is Satan.
Wow.
For generations, the Satan.
Wow.
Yeah.
But he's a tether anchor too, just like Joe Gibson. He's Italian as well. So you get no pity from us. Y'all fled from us, and you came over here to eat off a foundation of Black Americans. Your own nuts.
Fuck you, Joe Gibson.
And that includes you, Joe Gibson.
Yeah. Yeah, and also too, Joe Gibson, I forgot to tell your sorry ass too, Joe, is that when you Italians that went up there up under Mussolini and went there in Ethiopia, y'all got smashed. You know what I'm saying? Thank Haile Selassie for doing that. I forgot about that part right there. Yeah, when the Italians went there in Ethiopia, talking about they running shit. Yeah, when they went over there talking about they running shit up under Mussolini, you know, they got smashed. Okay, because Ethiopia has not been conquered since 1100 AD. Yeah. and then keep in mind, is that why are the women from Ethiopia so hypnotically beautiful? They are hypnotically beautiful.
Yeah.
And then a woman that I was speaking with in Panthertown a few years ago, who was from Addis Ababa, she had stated that it was the water and that it was from God.
Honorable mention, they have the Tigray genocide going on. It's been going on for the past 3 years. They've been raping black women in Tigray. And ain't no international attention being brought to it. So where the hell are you supporters? Your goddamn Cop Mala supporters. What is Jim Crow Biden and Cop Mala Harris's bad wench doing to address that issue?
Right, and then keep in mind though too, I do recall that during the Obama regime, is that they was having, a lot of missing women, a lot of woman abuse over there on the continent. But I'm of the opinion, it is the influence of foreigners who's been violating the continent of bringing that bullshit up there. Because as we do know in traditional African societies, women were held in high regard. You see, in research that I've done, that you even had, if you were a man, you even trace your lineage through your mother's side as opposed to your father's side. Now, keep in mind, they didn't write the daddy totally off, but, was more emphasis placed on then keep in mind, the queens of Ethiopia, would walk out there into the natural habitat, and she would walk with the lion. She would walk with the lion. She would walk with the panther. She would walk with the panther. She would walk with the leopard. You know what I'm saying? They didn't jump on her and whatnot. They were real cool around it. So what you would have right there is the balance of nature. But when you get some dudes who got the crack of their ass confused with a woman's womb going over there and who did not know how to bathe, and when they traveled there, they stunk so bad that they had to stand a distance of one city block to see what this nasty bastard was talking about. And this was brought to attention to me from a brother in Oakland who is Ethiopian. So I went straight to the source. And do keep in mind is that Oakland is getting a large Ethiopian politician, and the women are hypnotically beautiful. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And they got the curvature, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that we did not travel all over the world, but like I said, when I look at the indigenous women here in the United States, you know, and I've traveled, as you know, Brother Parris, through Nevada, through Utah, and what have they did not have the curvature of them foxes from East Africa.
That's because a lot of them ain't even Native Americans. Shabaka, they perpetrating the fraud. They $5.
So they run that by me again.
Them people that Shabaka, they are not Native American. They are not Aboriginal, indigenous to this land. They are a bunch of $5 Indians running around here talking about they Native American, and they pale as snow. They straight up and straight down. They have no shape, no curvature to them. Nah, that ain't nothing.
Like boxes.
Okay, you had to enlighten me on that one there, brother Che. You know what I'm saying? In fact, host the show on it on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, you know. Because I'm an old bastard, but one thing that I will say, being an old dumb bitch, is that you ain't never too old to learn. You know, not if you got half your mind left. You know, and the cold part about it is that you get some of these old ass bastards out here, you know, old as me and older, who refuse to learn. You know,
and refuse to get the hell out of the way.
Yeah, that's what I call really being stuck on stupid. Your transmission is broken, stupid. You can't shift out of stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and then one thing though, you see, here's one thing, man, and I forgot what they said in regard to Einstein, because you see, the trick is you got intelligent motherfuckers that deal with dumb motherfuckers. You cannot help stupid motherfuckers. You see what I'm saying? And then the panties, you know what I'm saying? This is nothing more than venomous hatred that he is doing. To find out about the panties is that he was a military officer, he was a JAG, or he was a military lawyer or prosecutor. You see, so he's Floridian and boycott the damn state of Florida. Okay, hit this bastard where it hurts in the pocketbook. Okay, don't go to Florida. He's even shutting down Disneyland or Disney World, that they call it, in Florida. And when I passed through Florida, I think I did pass the Disney World, you know. It's because Interstate 10 will take you all the way from the Atlantic Ocean all the way to the Pacific Ocean. And somebody had put up there on Facebook, what's the longest you ever drove on the highway? And I said from Florida to Northern California. And California takes up 2/3 of the West Coast. You see what I mean? And California is 796 miles long. Believe me, I've driven every inch of that damn state at one time in my life or another. So when you have assholes like the dump, well, the dump, we know what the dump is. He ain't shit. You know, and when I say the dump, I mean as in human shit, because this is what he is. Plus, there's charges of him that he had raped a woman, okay? Then he got one of the porno tramps, Stormy Daniels, or some shit like that. The man is sick. He's fucked up in the head. But Ryan, the panties, okay, I compare him to a Hitler.
He's just sit on my flag like that, huh?
I can't put it up. There's no dumb text, and the tape's not working.
Oh.
And then the panties, okay. and then what the panties is doing is that he is just expressing of how white America truly feels about us as a people. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you something. Now the panties, okay, some big like.
I haven't worn a shirt in like 3 years. Go ahead, Ramel. Ramel got something to say. Go ahead, Anchorman.
Okay, my question is, okay, I was watching the news. I think it was yesterday.
Can y'all hear him?
Team Parris. Can you hear me?
A little bit.
Can you hear him?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
A little bit.
Can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
if you could put some more volume to it.
All right, hold on.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to check up? Okay, check this out. So I was watching the news the other day, and I'm watching Pamela Harris go in on the thing to you without saying his name and all this other good shit, right? Okay, boom. I get it. You know, he on some fucked up shit, whatever. But the thing is, man, Pamela Harris and them on some fucked up shit too.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
I was hoping we could talk about that too, because
the sexual agenda to kids.
yeah.
You know, so they're like boom and bam right there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, it's the slave on one side of the motherfucker trying to soften the blow of slavery, and then the other motherfucker trying to invade the children's mind with homosexuality and transgenderism.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the worst of two worlds right there. You know what I mean? Then I want to touch on what Jennifer Survivor was talking about, the Trump or the Trump, but I mean, he be giving them lumps. You know what I'm saying? He be serving the motherfucking transgender motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is there's this dude running for president. I think his name's Aristides or some crazy shit.
You talking about Ramaswamy?
Mexico.
Ramaswamy.
Oh yeah, Ramaswamy.
Oh, you talking
Yeah,
about? No, you
Mexico,
talking about in Mexico?
His name is Aristides.
Andre.
So Aristides, he's running for president of Mexico in the next election. And he said, I swear, he said that if he becomes president, he's going to execute all the homosexuals.
Yeah, that's
He's
what he
like
said.
a real bold Catholic.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But anyway, so he made a pact with Trump in the last campaign he ran in this one. And his thing is that Trump guarantees him that he's going to attack the homosexual community, right? And what's crazy is, okay, we can talk all the shit we want about Trump, but his result has been phenomenal. He released like over 1,000 people from prison, all this other good shit. Because I got to give credit where credit's due. Even though he's a piece of shit, racist motherfucker, I'm going to give him props in one regard. You know,
His family didn't own slaves. Let's give him that too.
First thing he did when his executive power was take all the homosexuals and transgenders out the military. Ain't that bold?
Yeah.
Then he teamed up with fucking what's her face? The Arabian, Saudi Arabian, the girl that was with Kanye. What's her name?
The Kardashian chick.
Oh, Kardashian.
Yeah.
She ain't no damn Saudi Arabian. They from the Caucasus Mountains.
Yeah. Kardashian is Armenia.
They from the Caucasus Mountains, the caves,
Armenia.
Armenia.
I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought they were like Arabians.
No, they're from Armenia.
So I said correctly. But anyway, so
yeah, Kardashian
Either
is
way, they
Armenian
broke
name.
black men's lives. Let's put it that way.
he gets with the Kardashians, and he starts
Well,
people who have been done wrong by the judicial system. Like there was one sister that all she did was pick up a phone call or some crazy shit. They tell her like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, it's beneficial for black people right now. I hate to say this, but I'm gonna say it. It's beneficial if Trump gets cleared of all his charges and he wins that race, because he's gonna produce more results that are gonna be effective and beneficial for black people. That's all I'm gonna say.
Started to look that way. It started to look like that.
okay.
But it's also like I got
Okay.
faith in the third party candidate. I'm amused by the third party candidate. Right now,
Don't jump the gun yet, Lady Che. That's the next topic after this one. So we got damn the Satan. He wants to teach our kids in Florida that we benefited from slavery. How the hell did we benefit from slavery, black family?
I fucking do this.
Okay. All right. The sad part about it is
You probably
that when you
benefit from
see
wearing
somebody,
panties.
yeah, when you see the panties exercising his goddamn ignorance like that, okay, and keep in mind that this son of a bitch is supposed to be educated, okay? He was
He's
an
supposed to be
officer in the
educated,
U.S.
Shabaka?
military.
Shabaka said he was
Yes, sir,
educated
because
in
he
his
was
stupidity,
Yeah,
but she says
yeah, he
his
was
ignorance.
Yeah. He was a miseducated motherfucker because he used to be a JAG officer in the military. Now, a JAG officer in the military is a dude, man, that represents or is trying to prosecute somebody for military crimes. Okay. Now, with this dude being a former U.S. military officer saying some asinine shit like that, okay, he might have violated his oath of office, okay. But, however, one of their U.S.
We had a viewer
military.
that stopped by that said everybody. First Peter says everybody having a good Saturday night.
Okay,
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're bumming on
another Asian clipper, but.
Oh, okay. Well, if you're another clipper,
Peter, get on. We want to hear about
if you're an agent. Yeah. If you're an agent, First Peter, you know what I'm saying, man. You're gonna get told the truth about the dump and about the panties. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Is because you white people, okay.
You cockers, call them what they are. You cave lovers. You goddamn crackerwoods. You crackers.
Your days of running shit is over. Is because with your authoritative personality, okay, you have the philosophy of a barbarian, just like the dump, okay, is a barbarian. Except a dump. Okay, but the thing is about the dump being a barbarian. He's a damn fool barbarian. See, he's so much of a barbarian, he thinks he's untouchable. Yeah. But the panties, and I'm saying the panties wears women's underwear. Okay, so that's why I'm calling him the panties. Who knows? He's probably imports his draws from Fredericks to Hollywood and Los Angeles.
Oh my God.
Okay. So therefore, I have no respect for him because this bastard is going to sit up there and say that our people suffering on them plantations.
They try to take the sexual part out, but it's essentially it's the same thing, Ramil.
Okay. Yeah, and then keep in mind now I got that. Okay, now I got the
question mark.
Okay.
They try to
tic-tac-toe, here we go.
They try to equate sex and gender, and they're trying to manipulate gender, and now they're talking about all these different genders, even though we know there's only two genders. This is more confusing.
Right.
If you were born in his body, you're a man. If you were born in a woman's body, you're a woman. How complicated is that?
It's not complicated for us, but for these weirdos, it's complicated.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, them is a bunch of sick motherfuckers anyway. Well, I'm just keeping it real. Okay? It's because...
Ridiculous, man.
I'm not going to...
Stupid.
Because
it's like they forget that they come from a man and a woman, regardless of how they came in the world. You know, they came from a man and a woman. And for them to be playing these like games, like, you know, like all these pregnant men that are like women or women that turn into men, they seem to forget that they're pumping hormones in their body. It goes through that whole fucking pregnancy. So not only is your kid going to come out weird up here, it's going to be extra weird there. You know what I mean?
That kid is going to come out a goddamn abomination.
It's going to be confused. It's going to have some sort of a... When your hormones are balanced, your hormones are balanced. You know what I mean? Like that's a created fucking hormonal abomination if you think about it, because all you're doing is pumping these medicines to change you, to change your hormones to whether if you're a bitch naturally, now you got fucking hair, and you want to slice off your jiggly wigglies. Fucking weird. That's weird, right? But now, and you want to fucking cut up your leg and make a whole swilla out of it. It's fucking ridiculous. Then you got the men. They got the men that want to turn their shit inside out and stuck it up somewhere in there, put jiggly wigglies in there and take hormones. But you gotta forget that the men who are the women that are pretending to be men or that are men, right, are having babies and they're taking hormones and like all these pills and medicines and all that shit is going right from them into the umbilical cord into the baby, right? And then they're pumping milk. They're giving it like nothing natural. None of the shit that the baby is ingesting from the mother except for food, if that, or father, mother, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's weird. It's contaminated. It's all it's doing is going to add a hormonal, emotional imbalance that's going to just mess with their brain, and no one is factoring that in. Look, when you get old enough and you want to fucking make the decision to be theatrical and fucking do drag and whatever the fuck you want to do, pretend you don't even know. Half these dudes, half these brothers that have got long ass wigs and eyelashes and they're popping everywhere, right? You ask them what they are, they don't even know.
They're
They don't
non-binary.
even know. Now they got fucking like
confused. They got a mental health diagnosis.
they got a whole beard, fucking
Gender
long hair.
dysphoria.
It's a created fucking gender dysphoria. It's not natural. It's just something that whatever you thought that was gonna add to your fucking money, and that's wrong. Like all you're doing is acting stupid, and women are looking at you and laughing at you, bro. We're laughing at you. We're laughing that you don't know what the fuck you are, what to call yourself. You can't call yourself the baddest bitch because you might be, but you look like a damn clown because you don't know what to do. You can't shave your beard, but you got a long ass motherfucking wig on and edges, long ass eyelashes, and you popping and shit. But you're not popping, cuz you did. You're not popping.
The first day.
Hold on, y'all. We could do a whole show on this.
Yeah.
We don't agree with the alphabet agenda. It's very clear.
We just don't agree with poisoning babies either. And let the baby grow up and do what it want to do. You don't need to enforce your theatrics on a kid that first A probably didn't even want to come in the world. B didn't ask to be born into some fictional fucking created tale. Okay, you're a fictional creation. You're a fictional character. B or three has to grow up with the fictional creation. Okay, and then it's going to be confused and won't be able to think for itself because it's living in a fucking world of imagination, and that's not right because we live in a real world and we're at war. So while you're over there poisoning and creating this motherfucking fictional tale, you're setting your fucking future child up for failure. Period.
Right.
That's all I gotta say.
And
Not
then,
hate. It's the science.
Right. All right, y'all. I gotta get to this clip. So we got Professor Blacc Truth. Shout out to Professor Blacc Truth. I've been listening to Professor Blacc Truth for over 10 years now.
I've been listening to him for at least 8.
Yeah, he's one of the original new voices of the new black media, or voices of the new black media. We here at Front Line Blacc News and Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced and the RBA, we are the signal boosters of the new black media. So
that part.
Did a whole piece. He did his moment of truth. 424. He's been doing these for like about a year now.
A little over a year with the moment of truth. Like the 15-minute, 30-minute expose on whatever he feels compelled to address and keep us on in educated just keep us on the right path, you know.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play this from him. It's about 20 minutes long, about the Satan or the panties or the devil of Florida, and how
I'm about to break it down.
How his you can't hang Ramel. Okay, well, give us your closing statement, Ramel.
Okay, my closing statement is: if you're a man, you're a man. If you're a woman, you're a woman. Don't get it twisted. Do not fall for the man's tailpipe. You're women. Stop giving your baby to other women. Period. It don't work like that. You know, 2 women don't 2 men don't equal happen. It's man, woman, child. Now it's what we understand.
Yes.
Adam and Eve.
The original Holy Trinity.
The original home team, the onk, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, life. Life.
Yeah, life, everlasting life. So eternal life. You know what I'm saying? It's not wisdom, which equals 3, which is the third eye. And the third eye, is showing through about the future, being able to look into the future. When we see the future, we chill, period. So anyway, getting back to what I was saying, the Santees, he ain't even a threat to nothing. He's over there being the governor of Florida, but he's been a fall victim to his own bullshit. He's just exposing himself. And it's good that they do that, that they talk about all this bullshit.
Yes.
Try to do all this bullshit, because at least they are
like the X-Man said, I prefer my white supremacists out in the open.
Yeah.
I prefer them to be honest.
Yeah.
Be honest and truthful.
Yeah,
you hate me, the feeling is beyond mutual. I don't get surprised when you when you hate me. I get surprised when you claim, oh no, we're all brothers. We're all human.
Biden is to me, it seems he's way more sinister.
Oh yeah, big time. Biden, Anchorman, Biden just said something recently that should alarm everyone. He said that we are AI, and he was referring to the United States government, and they said that he jokingly said it. Who jokes like that?
A clone.
Yeah, nah. Talking about that, Anyway, so I can finish with I'm just saying, and Pamela Harris, I feel you to a certain extent, Pamela, about the whole, indoctrination with the slavery thing, but you're way off course. You're on some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You just fucking start with your bullshit, and look within and find yourself somewhere. You know what I mean? Because
she ain't doing shit.
You're on some bullshit. I know, that's what I'm saying. So, I'm just saying the majority of these politicians and shit move over to the side because he's on this front line, campaign all day.
All day, every day. Ready for the revolution. Stand ready. Stand ready, soldier.
No. The Black Imperial.
Yeah, Jesse, let him close out.
Salute a motherfucker or face the guillotine.
Period.
Firing squad. All right, I'm going to look back at you.
All right, stand ready.
All right, bye, Twin. Thank you, Twin.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, Romel.
Chewbacca.
We're out there. Yes, sir. And that there, and that there is one of our contributors there, the Anchorman, at Chewbacca's Black Experience in hand. And definitely check us out, every Tuesday, 6 p.m. in the West and 9 p.m. In the East every Tuesday night. The number to call in is 516-418-5996. And we are still waiting on you damn Biden supporters to call in about this old senile bastard who shits on himself, that sat up there and said that he did not want his children going to an integrated racial jungle when he was in the U.S. Senate. And it's the same bastard that sat there and pushed that federal crime bill by the Clinton regime, and Biden had pushed it in the Senate. Okay, so what it is Black family. It's us against the world.
Yes, it is. Chewbacca, I gotta get to this clip, or we're just gonna be here all night talking.
All right, I'm gonna go. I gotta go on my machine for a second. Go ahead.
All right.
I'm ready. Go ahead.
Sir, and this is the moment of truth. I guess we can file this one under never underestimate the power of your own stupidity. Ron DeSantis' so-called campaign is falling faster than ESPN's ratings. Gee, I can't imagine what could have possibly gone wrong, though I can take a few educated guesses at it. Ron DeSantis will be remembered as the first political casualty of 21st century internet culture. The entire reason he decided to surround himself with idiots like Christopher Rufo and pursue this asinine strategy of attacking Black people is because DeSantis has no charisma, he has no charm, and no ideas. He can't run on having a dynamic personality because he doesn't. He can't run on being oddly likable with voters because nobody likes him, not even other Florida Republicans. And he can't run on all of his great policies because his only policy has been attacking Black people. The white media has been completely flummoxed when it comes to why DeSantis isn't trying to attack Trump. This is the reason why you need the black media to give you common sense analysis. The reason DeSantis isn't even trying to take on Donald Trump is for the same reason that he hasn't been trying to take on Joe Biden. DeSantis isn't running against Trump, or even against Biden for that matter. He is, and has spent several years now, running against black people. That's who DeSantis'
Right.
true political opponent is, as he sees it. He thinks
That
wrongly
part.
that attacking black people was the entire reason that he got reelected last year. All of his so-called policies have been nothing more than blatant attacks on black people and making it clear to his racist white base that that's who he's running against. Only problem for him is black people aren't on the ballot. But since that's the only trick he knows, he has to stick to it regardless. His entire strategy to become a national candidate was to raise his profile by doing all of this racist performative extremism, which he would then use to get himself some face time on Fox News nighttime, rinse and repeat. Tucker Carlson's show was DeSantis' entire get out the vote effort. Tucker Carlson was his entire platform. But now that the frozen food fascist is gone from Fox's airwaves, DeSantis doesn't know what to do because he's lost his entire platform. So why doesn't he get himself off this one-way trip to oblivion? Because DeSantis is terminally online, and it shows. This is a man who is not playing to voters. He's playing to the racist white online crowd. When you see him obsessing over things like woke and CRT, that comes from these racist online sewers like 4chan, Reddit, Daily Wire, Daily Caller. In fact, every word that comes out of his ignorant little mouth is actually what you see in these racist right-wing comment sections. Whatever momentum DeSantis thought that he had from attacking critical race theory ran out a long time ago. And DeSantis, showing what a political idiot he is, didn't know the difference between when a political issue is more useful alive than dead. Part of why the GOP likes to attack the gays is because they can use fear-mongering about the LGBT agenda to drive their voters to the polls. The Republicans never actually planned to do anything about the so-called LGBT threat because the boogeyman of claiming that the gays were going to turn the children homosexual was always more of a motivator to get GOP voters to the polls. This was why in red states, the GOP would put some ballot measure or other targeting gay marriage or some other aspect of gay rights on the ballot during an election year. Not during an off year, but during an election year.
I'm right here.
That way, even though their voters didn't want to have to show up to support the GOP's candidates, putting an issue to attack gay rights on the ballot was their way of getting the voters to show up anyway. Yeah, you may not be there because you want to vote for these GOP candidates, but hey, we got this issue about the gays on the ballot. You got to show up to support that. And while you're there, you'll probably click a couple of buttons for some GOP candidates too. Now, if you go and ban gay marriage altogether, then you lose an issue. You have nothing to drive voters to the polls. And when it comes to attacking black people, that's exactly what DeSantis did. He was so eager to show that he could defeat these political boogeymen that he had set up that in the process, he put laws on the books that got struck down by the courts. And he also lost any incentive for his voters to turn out and support him in 2024. Besides, DeSantis has been bragging about how he's defeated woke. Well, if that's the case, then there's no need to elect him to do it again. This is why politicians often will not actually try to solve their constituents' problems, even though their voters complain about it all the time. Because politicians know that the moment that you actually solve people's problems, you lose an issue to run on, and voters have no incentive to turn out to vote you back into office again. Democrats have been pulling this one on black people for generations. DeSantis also isn't helping himself by trying to replay his greatest hits either. His critical race theory hysteria ran out of gas a long time ago, and you can tell that the white right's been desperately trying to find their next CRT, which is why you see DeSantis using this word salad of random acronyms like DEI, ESG, ABC, etc. Fomenting racial hysteria around critical race theory is the closest to a success that he's had in his entire political career. So that's why he's been desperately trying to find a new critical race theory. After all, he passed laws allegedly killing critical race theory in Florida. And now that that straw man's gone, he doesn't have anything to follow up with. And he desperately needs something. He needs some momentum from anything he can get at all. He's recycled all the same talking points about critical race theory, and now he's using new acronyms like ESG and DEI, but is not gaining them any traction, not even among the racist right wing. Why? Because their entire strategy with critical race theory was that it was going to hurt white children. That was their entire strategy. You can't make that claim when talking about hedge funds and corporate outreach programs. There's no white children in schools to save on this one. The same racist trash who right-wing think tanks hire to go cause disruptions at school board meetings, they can't do that at a corporate headquarters or a Fortune 500 boardroom. They would get arrested if they even tried. So when it comes to these new acronyms that they're desperately trying to get some traction for, they don't have the ability to manufacture phony images of angry, paid white operatives putting on phony white outrage. That's why this new alphabet soup strategy by DeSantis isn't going anywhere. People have already seen this song and dance from him before, and he doesn't have any school children he can claim to have their feelings hurt. He can't push the same buttons as he did before, and even if he could, it doesn't have the same punch as before because the novelty is gone now. DeSantis screams white children's feelings are being hurt about everything. People have seen him scream reverse racism so much among the white right that it's lost its ability to motivate them. Because let's be honest, when you claim that Disneyland hates white people, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel looking for things to be outraged by. This is what I've told you about why DeSantis's performative extremism was damned to fail before it even began. The problem with going to the extreme is that after you've gone to the extreme, you leave yourself nowhere else to go but down. And as bad as DeSantis's lack of charisma or charm may be, there's an even bigger deficit that he can never overcome, and that's his total lack of character. That's at the very heart of why his campaign was damned to fail before it even began. Instead of being honest with himself and surrounding himself with people who would actually tell him the truth about himself and his campaign, instead he did what all intellectually dishonest people do. He surrounded himself with a bunch of yes men, flunkies, and toadies who would just tell him whatever he wanted to hear.
Yep.
Like how great he is, how terrible black people are, and how all of America agrees with him. This is why clowns like Christopher Rufo are doing what they're doing. Rufo's just trying to grift a check for himself, so DeSantis gave him a make-work job as a university board member, which Rufo is patently unqualified to do, and while DeSantis sinks, Rufo is in hiding. Rufo's racial hysteria grift was cute for a while, but now it's run its course, and he sees that DeSantis is sinking fast, and as for Rufo, he doesn't have a follow-up grift behind this, so he's been laying low, no doubt looking for a new clueless Republican politician with more ego than brains who he can latch onto next. This is the problem with politicians playing to the online message boards. That's why DeSantis chose to launch his presidential campaign on Twitter, because after Elon Musk bought the website, DeSantis thought that that made it a go-to spot for all these white racist DeSantis has been playing to online. And I'm sure Elon Musk told him that he had aggregated and concentrated all these white supremacists in one spot, and that DeSantis would be able to talk directly to millions of angry white racists who, of course, couldn't wait to vote for him, and that this would be a data-driven approach to campaigning that would revolutionize voter outreach, etc. You know, the typical Silicon Valley spiel. Well, even if the so-called launch hadn't been plagued by countless technical issues, it still didn't motivate anyone to want to vote for DeSantis, not even the online racists. A lot of these white supremacists loved it when Dave Chappelle lambasted the angry LGBT advocates who attacked him. You'll recall that Chappelle said the reason he wasn't scared of them was because, quote, Twitter isn't real.
Right.
The racist right-wingers loved that because this was before Musk bought the website. Well, Musk owns it now. DeSantis bet all his chips on Twitter being real. And what a surprise, Twitter still isn't real, not even for the white right. See, this is what happens when you have liars and hypocrites being forced to face reality. Twitter won't suddenly become real just because you replace nihilistic left-wing lunatics with nihilistic right-wing lunatics.
Right.
DeSantis didn't understand that. And this failure to realize reality isn't new for him. DeSantis did nothing when he was in Congress either. He was a self-interested clown who even then was desperately trying to make a name for himself with over-the-top performative extremism, like the time he said that New York shouldn't get disaster relief after Hurricane Sandy because, well, it's not a red state. Nobody took him seriously when he was in Congress. His name got on no legislation because nobody knew he existed. He could be counted on to vote the right way come time to vote on legislation, but that was it. That's why nobody remembers that the most obnoxious person in American politics today was also trying to be the most obnoxious person on Capitol Hill several years back. That's why after he failed to gain any political traction in D.C., he slithered back to Florida to see if he could raise his political profile there instead. He ran for governor against Andrew Big Bussy Gillum and barely squeaked out a win on that one. Even back then, you could already see that DeSantis's two-cycle weed whacker of a brain, if it could be called that, was hard at work trying to see what noisy, over-the-top stunts he could do to up his profile and hopefully get this would-be run for higher office going. So he began his culture war shtick. He brought in political incompetents like Christopher Rufo. He took the wrong message away from Trump's success, which was play to the base. Trump played to the base all right, but he also made sure to play to people outside of the base. As a candidate, Donald Trump had a far more well-balanced base than DeSantis could ever hope for. And DeSantis, being a political incompetent, he plays to the base and no one else. He really overestimated his success and his abilities when he was able to beat the human cadaver Charlie Crist last year. I mean, who couldn't beat that guy? That's no tale of victory. That was just a fait accompli. DeSantis has a compliant state legislature, which has willfully abdicated all of their authority and just acts as a rubber stamp for him. Most of the legislation that they pass winds up getting struck down by the courts, but they don't care. It's all about getting attention. DeSantis' entire political strategy was to get as much airtime on TV as he could. And while it's true that TV airtime is the most important part of a political campaign, it's also true that the wrong kind of TV publicity will kill your campaign. DeSantis is not popular outside of Florida and a few blood red counties in Texas, Georgia, and a few other racist southern backwaters. When you sit around in a circle of people telling each other how great they are, you tend to overestimate the appeal of your bad ideas and underestimate how unpopular you truly are. That's why DeSantis actually thinks it's a good thing for him to say that he's going to make the U.S. just like Florida. When he claimed that, he sent a shock of terror throughout the entire country. DeSantis has spent so much time outside of Florida running for the presidency that he's totally oblivious and unconcerned about what a hellscape that state has become. On his watch, he has no clue how Americans actually see the state of Florida. Homeowners insurance in Florida is through the roof. That is, for the few people who can get it. Almost all of the state insurance carriers in Florida have left the state on DeSantis's watch. He single-handedly ran Florida's insurance industry into the ground because he refused to deal with the state's insurance crisis. He was too busy running for president. And what was his proposal to get all of those insurance carriers to come back to Florida? He said, knock on wood, let's hope there's no hurricanes this year. I wish I was making that up. He has no strategy to get the insurance companies back, and he has no answers for the people who need insurance in that state now but can't get it. So what does he propose to do? Knock on wood and hope for no hurricanes. His strategy for dealing with the fact that his state has no insurance protection is literally superstition and denial. Gee, who would have thought that banning books doesn't stop hurricanes? I thought that was the cure-all. That must have been the answer to all of Florida's problems, because that's all he's been doing. See, this is what happens when DeSantis can't say woke to an issue, which is why he doesn't know what to do. Hurricanes don't care about anti-Black race baiting. He spent most of his time whining about critical race theory, which isn't a problem, instead of dealing with the state's true issues. But then again, how could he solve any of the issues facing Florida? He can't actually solve any of the state's problems because he doesn't know how. That's why he race baits. It's all been a political bluff on his part, and the cost of living in Florida is utterly out of control. Not that Governor Clueless has said a word about it. Miami is now the least affordable city to live in America, and Florida is quickly becoming the least affordable state. All you get from going to Florida is low state taxes, but that doesn't mean anything when the cost of living is 50% higher than anywhere else in America. Low state taxes are not what makes a place affordable to live in. The cost of housing is, and Florida is losing that battle miserably. But DeSantis doesn't care. He dangles some race bait in front of his brain-dead minions, and they forget how lousy their own lives are because of that. Anti-Black racism is the political opiate for the masses. And this idiot has no clue that it's no feather in his cap to claim that the rest of the country should somehow want to emulate Florida. Florida has always had a reputation for being a weird state at best, but now it's weird, psychopathically racist, and unaffordable. Nobody wants their state, much less the rest of America, to become that. The reason Ron DeSantis is struggling so hard and failing so much is because there was never anything there to begin with. Just anti-Black slogans and phony white grievance. Now, just because the most incompetent governor in the history of a basket case state is going down in flames, that doesn't mean Democrats can rest easy in the knowledge that Black people are politically irrelevant, because that's what Democrats are hoping for. First of all, voters didn't vote for Trump in 2016 because they thought that he was the best candidate for the job. The Trump base could best be broken down into two distinct groups. White racists who desperately wanted someone to repudiate the Obama years because since 2008 they had the white right-wing media saying erase the Obama administration, which to the white racists meant erase the fact that a Black man had been president. That was and remains the largest part of the Trump base, but there's also a second part of the Trump base, the one that put him over the top and got him the presidency. These were the disaffected people who were tired of being ignored by policymakers and who wanted to give a huge, or as Trump would say, huge middle finger to the political establishment of both parties. Nobody wanted Hillary to be president. She represented everything wrong with American politics and American life.
Right.
Nobody wanted Biden to be president either, but Trump had spent 4 solid years making himself the most obnoxious person on earth and also committing a number of political missteps, because he had one eye on his poll numbers and the other eye on the loud mouths in his white racist base who were having him commit political suicide. But there's also another potential problem on the horizon that Democrats are not exactly looking at, because there is someone in Republican circles who managed to do the racist, anti-Black, anti-woke hate-mongering, but who isn't obnoxious like DeSantis and doesn't make people want to puke at the mere sight of him. I'm talking about Glenn Youngkin, the governor of Virginia. He won election last year on a platform of anti-Black, anti-woke rhetoric, though unlike DeSantis, Youngkin was just smart enough not to go overboard with it. Youngkin showed far better judgment and far better restraint than DeSantis when it came to his anti-Black race baiting. Youngkin is as racist as DeSantis, but he's also less off-putting to voters, and he actually has half a brain. Now in Virginia, governors are not allowed to serve 2 consecutive terms. You get to serve 1 term, then you have to wait another 4 years before you can serve the second. For Youngkin, that means after DeSantis bows out of the race, he could throw his hat in the ring, but most likely he'll serve his entire first term as governor and position himself for a 2028 run instead. Now, sure, if the Republicans get really desperate, he could be thrown into the 2024 race, though if the Never-Trumpers and other GOP groups who see that DeSantis is flaming out want to position Youngkin, they better move fast, because it's only 5 months before the first primaries and only a year until the RNC convention. Even Biden, who came out of nowhere, announced his candidacy for the presidency in April of 2019, which was merely a year and a half before the election, and even that was considered a last-minute entry into the race. Glenn Youngkin has no name recognition, however, and no accomplishments to speak of. Nobody knows who he is, so he would have to invent a national profile and support base for himself out of the gate, on the fly. Even DeSantis was smart enough to start campaigning for the presidency 3 years ago, the second Trump lost. Sadly for DeSantis, that was about the only smart move he made. And as for DeSantis's political future, well, even if by some miracle he does grow a brain, that's going to happen long before he grows a personality, and in American politics, a personality is more important than intelligence.
Yep.
It's hard to see how he pulls his campaign out of this tailspin, even if Trump does get struck by lightning. So what will DeSantis do after he's forced to drop out of the race next year? Well, as a washed-up, failed former governor and failed presidential candidate, I imagine he'll probably do just like Mike Huckabee and try to find himself a job on Fox News whining full-time about Black people and wokeness. Though it's much more likely he'll wind up prostituting himself to some right-wing think tank, just like John Boehner and other Republicans do, talking to right-wing luncheons and confabs for cash. But what he won't be doing is fighting woke. I would love to say that the humiliating fall of moron DeSantis will be a cautionary tale in politics, but in reality, none of these politicians will learn anything from it. DeSantis's war on black people is what American politics is all about, both Republican and Democrats. The closest to learning anything from DeSantis's decline that the politicians will come is to find someone who isn't an annoying cardboard cutout like DeSantis is, someone who isn't eminently unlikable and who has something resembling a personality, which will be a distinction without a difference. Good day, and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors: Terrence Mobile, Alexandria Victor, Darkside Blues, Jimmy Whitfield, and Immigrant B1. Salute to them, and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.
Well, Professor Black Truth, he'll get no argument with me on that right there. And DeSantis, you know, here's garbage, you know what I'm saying? He's recycled toilet paper, and he's recycled women's panties, you know what I'm saying? And I'm always going to call that punk what he
said
is.
that earlier tonight, Rocket. Let's play a little bit of that.
All right.
Shout out to Brother Yang. You all right, Lady Che? Okay.
We act like we don't see it. But I wanted to address something too that you said earlier. And then I want to let Brother Mike get in here too. I see you, Brother Mike. I'm gonna let you. I'm sure you have a comment. One of the things you said earlier is like, you know, they will speak the truth, their sentiment sometimes, like the 2022 anti-woke campaign. They don't want us to be woke. J. Edgar Hoover had counterintelligence. Who wants to count, like my father says all the time, who wants to counter the intelligence? You should want to propel and push and promote and endorse and encourage intelligence. They want to counter the intelligence. They want the pro-ignorant black people, niggas, so to speak. So that devil, he will speak a truth to a degree. That devil will speak a truth to a degree. So yeah, they anti-woke and definitely promoted counterintelligence. Brother Shabaka, let's see what Brother Mike. What's good, man?
Yes.
Did you, man? Appreciate you jumping on the panel. Did you have something you want to contribute?
Yeah, basically, I'm calling in from the United Kingdom of Great Britain.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. So, you know, this has really got me completely distressed, and to hear that Ron DeSantis is now trying his best to push the whole, you know, the situation was good under slavery. Now, I mean, can like the Supreme Court in the United States of America, or can the Superior Court of, say, the state of Florida, can they actually strike down these policies? Because I can't imagine for the life of me that someone like Ron DeSantis could say, oh, you know, the Holocaust, and when the Jews were living in, say, the Warsaw ghetto, the situation wasn't really that bad, and they were living a good life, and they were able to have jobs, and you know, I can't imagine that happening. So can there be like a rule of law whereby the Supreme Court, or you know, of say Florida or the United States, could actually strike down these policies? Can you hear me?
I'll let someone else. Anyone want to answer that?
It is, but it takes time. It takes time, and you have to have committed people. You have to have somebody consistent that's willing to go through all that they're going to take you through to get to it. You're going to have to file documents. You're going to have to file motions. You're going to have to push it, but it can be done.
Mm-hmm. Brother Shabaka, did you want to address that? Did you want to answer that?
Yes,
he said, is there something that could be done? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay, because what it is, the sister was saying is that the Supreme Court at the state level and the federal level, they choose the cases that they wish to review. Okay, and I appreciate this gentleman calling in. And what it is that what we have to do as a Black community is pull our resources politically, economically, and socially together. You see what I'm saying? Is because we got to set up a Black Front, we got to set up some type of coalitions amongst ourselves that, hey, man, we ain't going for this crap no more. You know what I'm saying? Now, the most effective group that I saw with that, you know, in my years of being here, because I'm plus 60, meaning that I'm old, okay, was the Black Panther Party, but they did grassroots their organization, which is great, which was beautiful. But what we got to do is pool our economical resources and bring back like some Black Wall Street, and we're going to have a self-determination policy that look at we're not going to sit up here and go with this crap. And for you politicians like your Herschel Walkers, your that brain dead Negro down there in Georgia, Tim Scott, we got to turn back on them and let it be.
Did you see that? Man, hold up. But Shabak, I'm sorry to cut you off. Did you see some of that Negro's commercials down here when he was running?
Oh man, each time I look at that,
man, Herschel need to cut that shit, man. Man,
I'm Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
I'm running for. I like ice cream.
I was like, man, they should even did it.
I like cheeseburger too. I believe in werewolf and vampire.
Can I just jump in here, guys? Can I just jump in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, brother Yager. You're sure. I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, jump on in, man. That's how you know.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm deeply concerned about the level of politicians you have in the United States. You got Marjorie Taylor Greene, you got Lauren Boebert, you got Herschel Walker. I mean, my goodness, what is going? How do these people even get on to the ballot? I mean, I just don't understand it. I mean, they clearly don't have the experience. They clearly don't have the skills. What is going on in America?
It's great. Well, one of the things, it's one of the things though. I wanted to address something Shabaka said. It also ties into what my guy said, and it's just I'm not gonna shit you, Mike. I'm a nationalist, so I'm even sitting here listening to your critiques and criticisms. I love my cousins from across the pond, but y'all got your own shit to worry about.
That's cool.
However, I'm always, inviting and inclusive because I'm first a Black nationalist, but I am a Pan-Africanist. So, sometimes an outside view, sometimes someone who isn't in the mix of the fray can actually give you it's like your coach being on the outside of the ring. Listen, he drops his left. When he drops his left, bang his ass.
Yeah.
So, it is invited and welcome as long as it's done in a spirit of cooperation and advancement for us as a people here and throughout the diaspora. But let me say this. One of the things that I find with Black people is we will practice a democracy with white people, but won't practice a democracy with Black people. And what I mean is this. We'll we'll go with the popular vote in America. They vote Trump in, they vote Bush in. White people get disgruntled to storm the Capitol January 6th. Prime example. But we will accept it.
Right.
We accept it, whoever comes in. But why can't we do that amongst ourselves? If the majority of Black people say, okay, we're going this direction, why can't we say, hey, it is a democracy? No, we'll argue with our democracy. But let these white folks tell us who runs the fucking nation. We won't argue with that.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
but we can't get together and say majority rule amongst ourselves because we have these petty bourgeoisie Negroes that be so scared about losing the illusion of inclusion, the little bit they think that they freaking have, that they will go against not only would they vote against, they would cause a disruption. They'd be like, screw the Black democracy. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
They would break off. But let the white man tell you got a democracy and this is who won the election, then you all good.
Well, if
I may interrupt.
Yeah,
look
please.
At your current vice president. Yeah, look at your current vice president, Kamala Harris. Okay. Now, Kamala Harris.
Boy, you got some names, bro. You got some names for these cats.
Oh yeah,
and she was also the district attorney of San Francisco County, where Mario Woods was murdered, unarmed by the San Francisco Police Department. He's 6-foot cop, getting a half circle. They put 45 bullets in this man who's only 5'7", 140 pounds, wringing wet. Well, he had a knife. Now, Kamala was supposed to step in there as the district attorney of San Francisco County before she became the attorney general of California, before she became the U.S. Senator from California, and before she became the vice president. But I even saw her get upset at De Panties, because keep in mind, I'm saying that De Panties is a transvestite. I'm saying he's a punk, and everything that I could say to degrade his sorry stinking asses, because actually what he's doing, in my opinion, not only is it illegal, man, but it's immoral. You see, but as you say there, Brother Yanka, and I give it to you, man, but you get these bourgeoisie Negroes, man, from New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, oh, you the boss, whatever you say goes, and they wonder why they got black men wearing dresses up here in Hollywood. It's saying the Dr. Francis Wells is feminize the black male, is because, as you know, man, when the Black Panthers was doing their thing, when Ali was standing up doing his thing right there, that scared the shit out of white America. It really did. That's why they want to have all the guns, and they want to keep us unarmed. So the gentleman here from Great Britain, just giving him, some hard facts, man, about this American demonocracy that they have over here. Look at Tim Scott, look at the dump, look at the Panties of Florida, look at your House Speaker, Leo McCarthy. And one thing too, Mr. McCarthy, if you're listening, is that you're from Kern County, and please bring up the historical fact that in 1972 in Taft, California, white folks ran every black person out of that town, man, like they did Rosewood, and there was only 13 black families.
And that's
that's the stuff that they don't want you to know.
Yeah, that's what they're not gonna. Yeah, that's what like you said, the revisionist history comes in. That's what they're not gonna teach.
Yes,
Mike, you were saying so.
Yes,
Yeah,
I wanted to add to the fact that, incidentally, Steve Mnuchin had committed a major crime in regards to, I believe it was fraud, and it had something to do with foreclosing on homes and all that. I can't remember the exact detail. Now, it was under her jurisdiction, and she refused to do anything about it, Kamala Harris. And yet, at the same time, she was going after arresting and putting black mothers away in prison for the mere fact that their children were not attending school, were playing truant, so to speak. So, the people like Kamala Harris have been a complete and absolute joke. Now, as a person from the United Kingdom of Great Britain, I'm not trying to disrespect foundational Black America.
Let me ask you this: Are you a Black Briton?
I'm a Somali Briton.
You're a Briton. Y'all don't have distinction like that, or y'all just Britain?
I'm British.
He knows I'm asking if he's a white boy or a black dude. I watch too much Netflix to know Britain got black people over that man. I watch Top Boy and all kind of shit. Y'all they got some gangsters over there. So I'm just trying to gauge because I'm not going to sit here and I struggle just isn't a class struggle over here. Our struggle is a very real race struggle. So I'd like to know what perspective. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to kick you off the line, but I'd like to know what perspective you're gauging Black American politics by.
Right. I'm gauging it from the perspective of a Somali man who lives in the United Kingdom.
You're African.
I'm an African man. Yeah.
Okay.
I live in the United Kingdom of Great Britain, and I support the cause of foundational Black America. And, I support their bid to obtain, reparations. And I hope and pray to God that one day the foundational Black America is able to get back on its feet and reestablish like the economic base of the old Wall Street, Rosewood, Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've always been
Black Wall Street,
foundational Black America as long as I could remember. So I'm not one of those. So some unfortunately in my community are, dreadful to the African Americans, and my deepest apology for that. And basically, whatever advice I can give on the outside, living in the UK as a fellow African, I'm an ally. That's what I believe.
Man, right on.
Right
We can
on.
always use those. Listen, let me throw this out here too. Hit that like button if you coming in here. If you in the clouds and you don't want to be in the chat, you can at least hit my like button. If you're enjoying it from afar, if you hating on Yanga, I watch YouTube people that I don't even sometimes agree with, and I hit their like button. I'm over there watching it on. So hit the like button if you like what you're hearing. Tell your people about it, man. I'm here for us. Mike coming in. Mike, I hope you subscribed, and I hope that you are a future panelist and become a regular panelist, man. Like I said, my cousin's viewpoint, especially if my cousins are coming in peace and want to be allies to our struggle here, and we can aid your struggle there, and then the struggle back home. I had the opportunity to live amongst the Somalian community out here in Clarkston. When I was a little deeper in the Dean, you know what I'm saying? When I was a little harder in the Dean, I decided to move amongst my African brothers, those from Somalia. But so if we coming in an ally thing, then that's what's up.
Yeah, that's
Here's
where
the
I'm
other
coming
thing
from.
Here's the other thing that I wanted to add to that, though, is like what we're all really speaking about to me is political apathy. Our lack of, we talk about Kamala Harris, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that we are so politically ignorant. And I say that not in a disparaging way. I don't say that to, like I'm sitting on some type of political knowledge and talking down on people. I say politically ignorant in either ignorant of it, we willfully ignorant of it, or we just don't know. It can be frustrated and complicated. And I think what they do is they patronize us to that. They placate us and they treat us like children. So they push a Kamala Harris, the first African American female. I think black women should have been insulted, me personally. But I guess they would say the same thing about Barack Obama. Well, y'all didn't black men to get upset about Barack. But I get it. But then, when you look at the history, though, this is what I'm talking about.
Jesse.
You was insulted by that? Yeah, I got a black woman on stage. How did you feel about that? Yeah, I got you up here, my guy. Totally. How did you feel about that?
About Kamala Harris personally?
Yeah.
I was insulted because I did research on it. And I was like, she don't represent us. Because I know they was calling her black. And then, I had said something about, so they got a black vice president. And they was like, she ain't black. I was like, what you mean? Okay, wait a minute. And they was like, and they was telling me stuff. So I had to research. I was like, and then seeing what she did as far as the prison system and our people. And so I was like, she don't represent us.
Yeah.
She don't represent
Exactly. She don't represent us at all.
I believe, Kamala Harris is half African. She's half Jamaican. And she's half Indian, so she's a Brahmin Indian. They're like at the highest parts of India, and basically she's Jamaican, and her Jamaican father, I believe, is an elite. He's light skinned. So 1 minute she's Indian, and then the next minute she's African American. So she's all over the place. She doesn't represent anything, and she's quite the enemy of foundational Black America. And you know what? I think that for her to have been.
Interject on something, Mike. If I may interject on something, Mike, not cutting you.
Please do.
Okay, you have to understand that when slavery, man, was going on here, right? Okay, if you had one drop of African blood in you, man, you qualified for the oxygen block. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, period. Okay. And then keep in mind, as I use the term, when it comes to slavery,
someone had a YouTube on or something. We get Shabaka. We have a terrible echo.
It's a bad echo.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Okay, that's a little better. Yeah, that's a lot better.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right. Okay. So what it is that she still would have qualified for the oxygen block. You see, that's one thing about the state of Louisiana. They were very up on that. Same thing with the Haitians as well, too. You see, and then when you get these brain dead Negroes talking about, oh, well, we're all the same and all that, that's bullshit. It's because, see, your black ass man could be sold. You see, read Alex Haley's Fruits. Read, the works of Frederick Douglass. I mean, Frederick Douglass himself, his mother was black, and then the dude that raped her was a white rape and slave trading pedophile that used to beat Frederick Douglass with a whip. And Frederick Douglass one day got upset about it, took the whip, and he beat the shit out the slave owner for about 2 hours. Then he had to realize he had to get out of town. So then what he did, he hauled that down there to Baltimore, and he was a stowaway on a ship, and he was a sailor. And then he came into California, where he set up a newspaper office as well too. And then this is when Frederick Douglass was doing a lot of writings against slavery and what have you. Oh yeah, Freddie D. He's one of our most dynamic icons. And then also too over there in England as well. You all had a Black liberation movement on there because you had a lot of the brothers who were in the 1960s from Africa. It's because when England took over a colony, then they had the people there become British subjects. This is why you have so many Black people in Africa. And then Jamaica, Kingston was one of the largest slave ports.
Let me ask you this, Brother Shabaka. Let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you this real quick, and I'm sorry to interrupt because I had to have you on the show. We had to run history. I see you know your history, so we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have a special show with you. We can give it because that's some good stuff. So we were talking about Kamala Harris, and we were talking about the one drop of African blood, and her being she would have been able to be sold on it. So do you consider her Black? Should Black America consider her as a Black woman?
Okay, on that, as much as I hate to have to say, I would have to say yes. It's because the simple fact is that if slavery was still the law of the land of the United States, her pretty Black ass could have been up there and bought and sold too. All right, and then not to mention that her morals, because as you know, she was involved with a married man who was the mayor of San Francisco when she was 30 and he was 60. So that there pretty much tells you how Kamala, got her job, if you know what I mean. Okay. Personally, of her as a person, I think she's lying to answer the question. Look at a movie called Band of Angels that they made in the year 1957 with Clark Gable and a woman by the name of Yvonne Carl that played in a motion picture called The Ten Commandments. Okay, and that it would tell you just about what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? Look at another film called The Imitation of Life. You see, they made two versions of that. And man, that movie will make you cry. It'll make you cry. And the cold part about it is that this is the American ethos that I'm explaining to our man over there in the United Kingdom, is that we are viewed upon as savages, sexual objects, predators, dope dealers, gangsters, all the scum of the earth of American society, they throw on us. But they don't never want to give us credit for Dr. Charles Drew. They don't ever want us to give us credit for Mr. Granville T. Wood. And they stole all their knowledge and what have you. They don't ever want to give us credit for Benjamin Banneker that laid out the almanac and also that did the drawing of Washington, D.C. They always want to see us up there ignorant, hating each other, you know what I'm saying, and figured that the only way we could prosper is through athletics. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the human drama of athletic competition as anybody does, and particularly as you were saying, Dr. Yang, with boxing, the chief corner, the chief corner man is to tell this fighter what he's getting hit with. And yeah, man, we getting beat up real bad. But there's a lot of people here that are standing up to the likes of the dump as a human shit and the panties of Florida. See, I don't call them panties. I call them the panties, as in a man wearing women's underwear. Because he's a punk. To come up there with that asinine ass shit, man, come on. That's an insult to all of our intelligence. I think that's an insult to a dog's intelligence. And a dog, as we all know, he just follows his nose wherever he goes. You see, but the Santees, man. And then the cold part about it is that you got all these like it. You see what I'm saying? Now, we remember old Frog Face. You remember Frog Face, Brother Yanko, George Washington.
Yeah. I mean, segregation forever. But that's what they say. There's nothing new under the sun. And there's no way a person gets away with that soloed. I mean, the Satan has some people with him now. That's down. We were talking about the Board of Education, and these people are his staunch supporters.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
And these people are his. Yeah. And these people, like us. Go ahead, brother.
Look at all the people. And look at all the people, Brother Younger, that died during the civil rights movement, both black and white. You know, when they was turning the fire hoses on us. And then the people who were white that came and joined Dr. King, they got jumped on and beat to death. Look at the case of Viola Louiso. Okay, pull up 1965. You know the case of Viola Louiso? Oh, yes, sir. And then also, too, to the gentleman from Somalia, man, why are the women from East Africa so hypnotically beautiful? That's what I want to know.
Boy, he got his shot in. Shabaka threw him a shot in real quick. He took us from civil rights. He said hypnotically beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But let me ask you this, Shabaka. Let me ask you this though too, and open panel discussion. I mean, I still want the panel. I want you guys to be. That's why it's tough having Shabaka on. Shabaka is a scholar, and I have these respectful panelists. When the scholar speaks, you're doing what you're supposed to do. You listen. I'm looking for my pen and pad to begin to pull out. So please pardon the rudeness, but for the sake of keeping the show going, brother, I had to jump in there abruptly at times. So let me ask you this, and the panelists, what is it? Because we wrap it up. I only do my show for an hour and a half, and we're coming in. I'm in an hour and 11 minutes now, so we come like about 20 minutes left on the show, and I want to hear from all the panelists their take on DeSantis and what you think could be done, what you would have liked to see be done. Let me start it off. Because, like I said, my ultimate question is, where's the black political participation? I will repeat again, like in Georgia, school boards are elected, school board officials are elected positions. How did these people get this position? I didn't even get to talk about all of these people, and I'm not. But I did want to talk about some of them, and one of them particularly, I'm going to go into a little bit background because I want you to understand what type of people sit on the school board. And if this is the school board, I can only imagine what other positions, these white supremacists, these people who want to set you and I back, these black people, what positions they hold in municipalities and office down there, and in these civic positions, from sheriff to damn dog catcher, come and give you a ticket for your dog, lock your dog up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, we have to really be mindful. And are black people that comfortable down there? Have they been lulled to sleep that deeply to believe that they don't belong to the larger group of black people, that somehow this won't affect them? Is Florida really that nice to them that they don't care? I mean, like, where you at? Black folks. But in my conclusion, let me say this. Esther Bird, who I want to go through a lot of these people, Marilyn Magger, who was a former GOP spokesperson, these people, but this one particular Esther Bird and this infamous tweet she sent out about January 6th. And we know what January 6th was. January 6th was the insurrection. Don't let them tell you was anything other but an insurrection of disgruntled white folk. That's how they behave. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And this is what she said in her tweet. She said, in the coming civil war, so she's prophesizing and predicting, or when we go to the rest of the tree, even calling for another civil war. She says, in the coming civil war, we the people versus the radical left. Team rosters are being filled. There are only two sides, with us or against us. And there again, this was in response to the insurrection, not a riot, not the complete uprising, the insurrectionist behavior of disgruntled white folks to desecrate one of their most sacred places, the Capitol, to storm, trash, get sensitive information, terrorize, all that stuff for it to be brought. And this woman is tweeting an endorsement, even prophesying or encouraging a coming civil war, and she sits on Florida's school board. Come on, you think they don't know how to get the people through education? And I yield.
Man, now that
That's
part,
my that's my conclusion. Like, I'm gonna be a judge, Mr. Rock, if you don't mind, and ask. Let's go to my guy, because we're gonna save you for that oomph. My guy, what's your what's your take on this whole thing?
Well, you know, going along with the question that you asked, what can be done? I think right now is the time to make noise now, to start making noise, because I mean, it's just like watching you. If you are aware that they're making a poisonous pie, and your job is to start now in the process of them even making this pie before they serve this pie, because they're going to serve this pie to the people. And a lot of people are unaware of the situation. That's why it's important to know, because like while everybody was watching the submarine thing, I just had that feeling that something was going on, that was a distraction. And what was happening here, I started watching where I'm at in Kentucky, and they were changing laws, and they were doing the same thing in Florida and in California. All the states were changing and making laws, because like now here, the law they done got in play to protect the police, that where things were public records to us, and we were able to pull and see like on their mental health, and have they had incidents like this before, you can't do that no more. They are changing things right up under our nose, that once you're going to find out that you can't do that no more. And that law took place in February of 2023 or May of 2023. Or, you know, but nobody's been paying attention. They've been watching these other distractions. Like, we got to stay focused. We really got to stay focused. We have to, like the elder said from the beginning, it's time to protest. It's time to make noise. That does make a difference, because what, if anything, a protest is doing is bringing people's attention to what is happening. Because when they get out there making noise, it's like, oh, they protested. What they protesting about would be the key question, and that's the right question. What we're protesting about is, and give them the information on what's happening, because the people do not know. With this time to really utilize this social media stuff for the benefit of our upcoming and coming together, because the best way people, if you don't believe what is happening to the Black people and the Black community throughout the diaspora, not just here, throughout the diaspora, all we have to do is unite. Once we unite, the truth will come out, because they're going to act out behind that. They're going to act out behind that, and stop trying to put it in positions where we're looking for a leader. We don't need to be led. We're all warriors. We all got leadership in our own beings. We need to walk side by side. We need to share information. I went to law school. Somebody else might not have went to law school. So I have information I could add to the pot. Let's add
you
to the pot.
You breaking up a little bit, my guy.
Can you hear me now? let's
okay, that's a little better.
Pot. You know what I'm saying? Let's add to the pot. Let's not fight about who's going to be in control of the pot, because it's about everybody eating from that same pot. So we all live, you know? So I think it's time to really make noise.
Oh, absolutely. And if I may interject here, because I got to go.
Please, brother.
Younger, you said you only got 12. Yeah, you got 12 more minutes. Okay, Sister Mark.
Yes, sir. And the floor is yours, blood. Please. Yeah. You said remind you the question?
A friend request. Huh?
You said put in a friend request.
Yeah, I'm asking Sister Magda to put in a friend request, because I already have you as a friend on Facebook, Brother Yanga, and also to follow me on Stinky Bird. I no longer call it Tweety Bird, I call it Stinky Bird, because it's much is a boy that I just found out. You know, and that's here Shabaka, capital EXT, Stinky Bird, okay? And too, and as you know, Brother Yanga, they censoring us big time, man. You know, they shadow banning us, man. It's because they don't like this truth. They don't like this strength that's coming about. And as Brother Malcolm had said, if you want to put somebody in this place, open up your hand, and you see these individual digits, they'll sting you if they slap you. But if you want to put somebody in their place, just simply bring these digits together. You see what I'm saying? And then we have to look at all of our people, man, that made the ultimate sacrifice, man. Look at little Ruby Ridges, man. Look at Elizabeth Eckberg with the Little Rock 9. Also, too, look at those who laid down their lives in the Black Panther Party, in the Civil Rights Movement. Look at the heavyweight champion in 1967 who sacrificed his prime years of his career. You see what I'm saying? For our liberation and for our self-determination. And this is not hatred. This is not racism. But this is intelligent. It's because the only thing we're doing is preserving our right to exist. And both the Queen Mother, who recently had a solar return, she was 76. We have a right to live, we have a right to exist, and we have a right to survive.
Right on.
And I yield. Okay, Brother Parris here he says, no, she is not black, let alone foundation black
Mike.
man. Yeah.
Yes.
Right on. Mike, I didn't see you in the back room, brother. I got you on there. I only usually do an hour and a half, so I'm wrapping up.
No problem, yeah.
So I'm wrapping up. But I was letting everybody get their closing statement in, and the question was not only what do you think about the center.
So say that again.
DeSantis, but what can be done about it?
Well, generally, I mean, it's not just the problem of DeSantis. I mean, you've got so many of the red states, and you've got so many people now railing against this critical race theory. I mean, critical race theory is not taught in any of the elementary schools or any of the high schools. I mean, this is an advanced course that's only taught at graduate level. They're obviously concerned about the issue of critical race history, and so a lot of our people in America, the foundational black people, have probably given up and thought, you know what, we've been teaching black history for all this time, and it's absolutely done nothing to improve the mindset, the mentality of the European. The European American of today is pretty much the same as the European American of 1963. I mean, much hasn't changed at all. So, they're probably putting all their eggs into another basket, thinking, well, where can we use our resources? Where can we use our strength? Effective ways. I mean, trying to convince white people that what they did in regards to many white people, in regards to what they did with the Native American Indians, what they did to foundational black Americans, they don't seem to care. They're benefiting from this. So most of them will just kind of have a tendency to ignore. Now, unless you can, demonstrate against, the way DeSantis is teaching, unless you can actually fasten the process in regards to changing the judicial decisions, I don't know what else is on the table.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's much. Listen, you guys, I appreciate everybody following through. Say notice, man. I appreciate it.
All right, yeah. Shout out to Brother Youngest. Shabaka, you still with us?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm getting ready to have to lay it down, man, because I'm dozing off here and I got to go to work tomorrow, man. I got to get out early.
Okay, I'm going to need your thoughts on two things before you go.
Yes.
Biden is scared. Whole Biden, Jim Crow Biden is scared. And 52% of black voters want a third-party candidate to run. And but
yes,
is it Cornel West? The answer.
Okay, well, I would say,
and
I would say,
should myself, Che Nkrumah, run as his VP to bring him up to code? And the Reptilians are trying to pass a bill to ban reparations.
Okay, yeah. On that there, the Reptilians, trying to ban reparations, that there is an insult to us as a people, is because up on Facebook, some idiot, tried to cuss me out on Facebook saying, fuck your reparations, fuck your people and all that. So I just deleted and blocked it. And that's why I put up there I might be going to FBJ. So what? Fuck them. You know what I mean? Is because Facebook itself is racist. Social media as a whole has a meter of about 65% of being totally racist. And then also too, Joe Biden, he is scared. You see what I mean? Because if the dump or the panties, you know, if they pick up momentum, man, yeah, they could bulldoze by now. As far as the third party candidate, Cornel West has announced that he is running under the Unity Party, and then with you having the experience that you do running for mayor, running for Denver City Council, plus your education in the background, yeah, man, yeah, go for it as the vice president. You see what I mean? Yeah, go for it. Because you got one thing on your side I no longer have, and it's you. You see? And then on top of it as well, you know, when they shadow banned us and suspend us on social media because, you know, we didn't agree with a particular agenda or what have you. All that does is just supports the fact that we ain't doing nothing speaking the truth. And so much for free speech, you know, that's an illusion. You see, just like the illusion of inclusion. When you look at this artificial intelligence, and when you look at this social media platforms and what have you, from San Bruno to Monterey, to Mountain View up there to Boys Town in California, the society is going totalitarian. And what it is, Black family, this is why we keep emphasizing we are all we got. We can't go, you know, with these peoples of color. We can't go with these immigrants and all that because, see, they're serving their own self-interest, you see. And as Dr. Claude Anderson said, it's going to be everybody against us. That's it. And I yield, and that's my closing comments for tonight.
All right. Thank you, Shabaka.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, okay? And then I'll get in touch with you tomorrow, Brother Parris. Is because there's so much shit that's going on in the world today, man. We got to pick a topic for Tuesday night on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. Brother Yanga, you're welcome to call in. Sister Girl as well can call in. Actually, everybody's welcome to call in, you know, with earshot, and everybody's going to have a lot to say. And we'll probably schedule that one in for 3 hours. So therefore, if we do get a lot of callers calling in, at least everybody will be heard, you see. Although we normally do about 2 hours.
Waiting on you Biden supporters, you Biden sexuals.
Oh, yes, sir.
You to call in.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and the number to call in Tuesday night is 516-418-5996. It's right here at the bottom of the ticker tape right here. So we're still waiting on you Biden supporters to call in, you know what I'm saying? So far we have one brother, a good brother, you know, that stated he's voting for Biden, and he regretted it. And I'm quite sure that a lot of these people who voted for Biden are regretting, you know what I mean? But one thing I will say about the dump, as in human shit, and I want to make that perfectly clear, he's stating of how he honestly feels, and then the governor, the panties, you know, man, you need to wake your pink panty wearing ass up, man. You know what I'm saying? Because Governor DeSantis, what you talking about is a bunch of bullshit, and I'm just gonna be straight out with it. And your ass is welcome to call in too at 516-418-5996. Call in Governor DePanties if you got the balls, because I think you wear women's underwear. Saying that asinine shit. Okay, folks, I'm out. I gotta go up here and go to work, you know, tomorrow. Okay, Brother Parris, I'll give you all a call tomorrow, man, and we coordinate for Tuesday on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. And that's every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. in the Pacific, 9 p.m. in the Panties time zone. And then the number to call is 418-5996. And we're still waiting on you Biden supporters to call in. Okay? And the cold part about it is we don't hate you. We're going to clown you only a little bit, but you went out there, exercised your right to vote. You all thought, he was the better choice. We understand. You've been sold a bill of goods. He sold the whole fucking country a bill of goods. Yeah. It's all right. We're not going to talk about you, but we know damn well that you're pissed off with him, and this stupid ass bastard that you got down there is the governor of Florida with that bullshit. Yeah. So yes, folks, please call in. It will be scheduled for 3 hours, because normally we do it for 2. But that way, there, if we go off in the overtime, we won't have nobody getting cut off of this because they are shadow banning us. Yes, so right. It is what it is. Stay black, stay dangerous, stay strong. Okay, this is Shabaka Stankoris, co-producer and West Coast correspondent of Front Line Blacc News and Shabaka Black Experience and talk to y'all soon. Okay.
Shabaka, peace.
Always. Okay.
All right. So that was our West Coast correspondent, Shabaka Stankoris. Have a good night, brother. Stay cool and hot ass Vegas. I'm dealing with Lady Che situation right now. So I'm gonna move us along, Black family. Our next topic is Biden. Good old Jim Crow Biden. The ones that y'all kept saying it was anybody but Trump. All you anybody but Trumpsters. We got whole Biden. Whole Biden can't even stand up on his own, let alone run a country on his own. And he, oh my God, he is not getting any support amongst Black voters, and that's great. 52% of Black voters, in fact, want a third-party candidate. But is it Cornel West? The answer. Or should myself, Che Nkrumah, Team Parris, I ran for mayor of Denver. Should I run as his vice president to bring him up to code? So that is the next topic, Black family. Shout out to the viewers. We'll see. Drop a comment or two. Let us know where you're calling in from or watching in from. So shout out to TD. Shout out to TD Hip Hop Media. If you haven't liked and subscribed to his channel, you definitely should. What are you doing? He drops awesome commentary and insight into the political scene lately. But he is a hip hop channel. So here we go. More Demorats and Republikkkans or Reptilians are open to a third-party presidential candidate.
We're here, we're live. I want to thank you all for joining me today. And if you can hear me clearly, please drop a 1 in the live chat below. Please, if you can hear me clearly, please drop a 1 in the live chat below, and then we can get today's stream started. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. Also, make sure you drop a like on this video as well, because that helps in the YouTube algorithm to push this video out, and YouTube will recommend this video to those who need to see it. And also, please make sure you share this video or the link to this video on your social media platforms as well. And I see the ones are starting to come in, so we can get into today's show. Now, what I want to talk about today is third party politics, right? And third party political candidates. That seems to be what everyone's discussing nowadays, especially in the mainstream. Everything is about third party, the need for a third party. This isn't a new discussion. People have been talking about this for quite some time now, for many, many years, as far as I can remember. But this is the first time in a long time that it's really kind of taken the mainstream stage, you can say. Right, with RFK, even though he's running as a Democrat, but with RFK running against Biden as a Democrat, and Cornel West running with the Green Party. Now, this does have the Biden administration slightly concerned, slightly worried. I don't believe by too much, but it's really more of a concern for Democrats than it is actually for Joe Biden. It's really a concern for Democrats as a whole, right? When you're talking about RFK, right, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., when you're talking about him, he isn't necessarily an issue for Joe Biden. Joe Biden will get the nominee as the Democrat who will run against Trump. But what RFK does signify, if I'm using that word correctly, right? What he does signify is the people's want, need, and desire for change and for something new, something different, and something fresh. That's what he does represent. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Represent, not signify. Is signify even a word? Somebody Google that for me and let me know. But what he does represent, right, is something new, something fresh, right, that the people actually want. And that also bleeds into third-party candidates and third-party politics as well, right? So then we come into Cornel West. Cornel West is actually a problem for Joe Biden, and that's what we're hearing a lot about in the mainstream. All the dialogue surrounding Cornel West surrounds how he's going to, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, because he's running as a Green Party member, he's going to siphon votes away from Joe Biden, right? That's what he's going to do. And because of that, Biden will most likely lose and Trump will become president once again. That's what everyone's talking about. And as I stated, when Cornel West first announced his bid for president, they're already setting the stage to lay all the blame on Cornel West's feet when and if Joe Biden loses. And I find that very interesting, given the fact that Democrats never actually take responsibility for their own failures, right? They don't at all. When you examine and look at the fact that if they lose, they're going to blame Cornel West. They're going to blame Cornel West and the Green Party the same way that if you've been listening to the mainstream dialogue surrounding Cornel West, they blame the Green Party for Hillary Clinton losing to Donald Trump in 2016, right? And even if the Democrats do get into office, then the blame goes to Republicans, right? But they never hold their own blame and take responsibility for their own shortcomings as it pertains to the people that they're supposed to be representing. So I want to get into this today. And before I do so, there are 139 of you in the live chat right now. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. And also, earlier this week, I released a clip from an interview I did with Councilman Ja'Cory Arthur, from Louisville. It's a really good clip, and it's a really good interview that I did with him a few months back that I'm just now releasing. And in this clip here that I released, I believe it was Monday or Tuesday, we discussed the importance and power of local politics. If you have not watched that clip already, it's only 5 minutes. You can do so by hitting the link pinned in the live chat above. And if you're watching the replay of this video, I will leave the link to that clip in the description box as well as, and also in the comment section below. And if you are a channel member, if you become a channel member, you can actually watch this interview in its entirety. It is currently available for channel members, the full interview. So if you're interested in that, this is a very good interview that I did with him on local politics and the importance of people power. Really good interview, very powerful and informative interview concerning running for local office, how to run for local office, and how to win, how to run to win, so that we can take control of our own communities. It was a very great discussion. So once again, if you're a channel member, you can watch that interview in its entirety. I'm not sure when I'll be watching. I don't know. I'm not sure when I'll be releasing this interview in its entirety. I'm not sure when that will be, but if you want to watch it now, you can become a channel member and do so. So now let's get into today's topic, right? Let's dive right into it, and let's go on ahead and knock this on out the park. So as you can see here, this is a NBC News article titled "More Democrats Than Republicans Are Open to a Third-Party Presidential Candidate." That's right. More Democrats are open to it than Republicans. Now, there's a few bullet points that I want to highlight as we go through this article. Now, let's dive into it. 44% of registered voters say they are willing to consider supporting a third party or independent presidential candidate if President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump are the two major party nominees in 2024. A majority of all registered voters, 53%, say they wouldn't consider voting for another candidate in a matchup between Biden and Trump next year. So the majority of people, of American citizens who are voters overall, still would not consider voting for an independent or third party candidate. But, you know, significant gains have been made throughout the years, so much so to where 44% say that they would. Now, here's what's really interesting, right? Let's break this down over here. Among Democrats, 45% say they'd consider backing a third party or independent presidential candidate versus 34% of Republicans who would consider backing another candidate. So as we can see here, those who typically vote blue no matter who, those who are Democrats, are more willing to vote for a third party candidate than Republican voters typically are. Now, here's where we get to the numbers concerning Black Americans, right? A majority of Hispanics, a majority of Hispanic voters, 58%, young voters aged 18 to 34, 57%, Democrats who backed progressive Senator Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders in 2020 Democratic primary, 55%. Once again, I'm giving you the numbers of those demographics within the Democratic Party who are willing to vote third party or independent, or who will at least consider it. Now let's get to Black voters. And Black voters, 52% of Black voters say they are open to considering a third party or independent presidential candidate in a Biden-Trump rematch. And this is a very good thing. It's a good thing. Number one, because for once, we see that it appears Black folks are kind of trending in the right direction of things concerning what's going on in the country, and understanding that there is a great need for change overall as it pertains to establishment Democrats and establishment Republicans, right? Typically, when it comes to statistics like this, and you all know because I read these off before, normally you see 58% Hispanics are considering voting third party or independent, right? 57%, 18 to 34. Those who want Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren, who wanted them in the last election, 55%. And then normally you get to Black voters, and it would be like 32% of Black voters are considering a third party or independent presidential candidate. But for once, you know, and I'm pleasantly surprised to see, they are actually over half of Black voters are considering third party or independent presidential candidate. Now, I want to come to this portion right here, and I want to speak to this for a minute, because this quote comes from, if I'm reading it correctly, Senator Joe Manchin, who says, from the Republican Party's perspective, this is a low watermark for considering a third party. And it's the high watermark for Democrats. Why is it a high watermark for Democrats and not for Republicans? Well, it's mainly because of this. When we're talking about the Democratic Party, as many of you may or may not be aware of, one of the nicknames for the Democratic Party is the Umbrella Party, right? and it's considered or called the umbrella party as a nickname because they represent so many groups up underneath it, right? The LGBT, women, immigrants, Hispanics, Asians, Black folks. They're supposed to be representing all these people. But the thing is that they make a lot of promises that they just simply don't follow through on. And when you're talking about Black America, the Democrats don't make you any promises because of the benign neglect policy, right? They don't make promises to Black Americans that they're going to do anything for them. But what they will do is that they will sit and entertain conversations with Black folks about the racial wealth gap and the maternal deaths and things of that nature. And after entertaining conversations with you about these multiple disparities between Black people and white people, Black folks typically walk away with the assumption that Democrats will do something for them. Well, I would like to believe, right? I would like to believe that after over half a century of religiously voting Democrat, that at some point, maybe this point, Black folks will stop assuming that Democrats are going to do something for us, right? When they clearly never make any promises to you. And I do believe that that is one of the reasons that we're seeing 52% of Black voters are considering voting independent, if not third party. You can only sell folks on big dreams and not follow through for so long before they turn on you, right? How long can you keep doing that? And typically what ends up happening a lot of the time is that you'll see people defect to Republican Party because a lot of people just aren't ready to do third party independent because they feel it's pointless. But at this day and age and at this point in time, a lot of people are considering third party candidates. And if not a third party candidate, they're considering RFK. But let's focus on Black Americans now, right? Let's do that. I want to focus on Black folks because when it comes to Black folks, a lot of us are very excited about Cornel West, right? A lot of us are very excited about Cornel West running for president. I've seen quite a few people in this, on the comment section of my videos here, discuss how they're going to vote for Cornel West. And I want to speak to that just a little bit as I have before in the past, right? But people are very excited about that. A lot of our people are. And because a lot of our folks are excited about that, it's only right that I give Cornel West, as I have in a video prior, the same level of criticism that I would give anybody else that is supposed to be running for president of the United States and has Black America's name in their mouth as if they're going to do something for them by speaking to their past and speaking to their pain, right? Recently, Cornel West did an interview with the New York Post. Many of you are familiar with this article that came out already via the New York Post. This article is titled "Cornel West Says Biden Committed Crime Against Humanity," right? Against Black Americans. And he also did an interview with Sean Hannity on Fox News as well, right? He also did an interview with Sean Hannity on Fox News. Now, I want to highlight a few bullet points in this article also. We're not going to read the whole thing, but I just want to touch on the handful of things, a few things that he said concerning Black Americans, right? But before we do that, if you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button. There are 311 of you in here right now. Please hit the like button if you have not already. That is one of the most important things you can do for this channel outside of financial contributions via Super Chat, Cash App, and Venmo. And speaking of Super Chats, thank you very much, Kevin C., for being the first person to contribute to today's live stream. It is deeply appreciated. Thank you very much, brother. I definitely appreciate it. Now, let's dive into this article here. And like I said, we're just going to hit a few bullet points because a lot of you have come across this already. A lot of people have talked about this already, including our good brother in the live chat, Rob from Blacklight Revelations 2. So here's what Cornel West had to say, right? Here's a few things that he had to say. Well, I think you'll think Joe Biden contributed to a crime against humanity when he became the architect of the mass incarceration regime in the 1990s, said West, 7 years old, referring to the Tough on Crime, Violent Crime Control, and Law Enforcement Act Biden sponsored as a senator in 1994. The bill authorized the hiring of 100,000 new police officers and allocated $9.7 billion for prisons. Okay, here's a few more bullet points that we'll highlight here. I've taught in prison for 41 years, and the level of barbarity in our prisons has something to do with the crime bill that he put forward, said West. Black folks are low priority to Biden, West continued, adding the president was much better at window dressing Black faces in high places than substantive change. West gave Biden's performance on race a dismal grade of C-. Now, what Cornel West is saying here is a lot of what many of us have stated. I've stated these things concerning the Democratic Party and Joe Biden on this channel multiple times. And Cornel West is saying the same thing as well, that Biden has done a phenomenal job at window dressing, putting Black faces in high places. But when it comes to substantive change, crickets, there's nothing. He hasn't done anything that anybody can point to of substance, right? Now, let me scroll down because I think I have one more point that I want to highlight. Well, it looks like I have two more points here, right? He put it's very clear that Biden is, it's very clear that his cognitive power is in decline, claimed West, right? We all know that Joe Biden is kind of losing it in the brain a little bit. And also here, to close this article out, Robert Kennedy Jr. has made a splash in media and political circles in the primary challenge to President Biden, but political experts watching the 2024 race say it is West who pose a far more dangerous threat. Yes, Cornel West is a far more dangerous threat to Joe Biden because, like I stated earlier, when it comes to RFK,
Jesse, how many topics we got?
He's not going to win, right? It just is what it is. And we all know Cornel West isn't going to, obviously he's not going to win as well. But what ends up happening as far as with Cornel West running, as people have already stated, he's going to siphon votes away from Joe Biden, which will most likely be the reason that he loses, right? So yes, Cornel West is a far more dangerous threat than Robert Kennedy Jr. Now, when you come to this Fox News article here, titled "Cornel West Calls Out Biden's Past Connections to Segregation," says Trump also flawed on racial issue, right? So as you can see here, even in this Fox News interview, and they're pulling from a Fox News interview that Cornel West did with Sean Hannity, you see here that once again, just off the title alone, Cornel West is speaking to all of the critiques, or I should say some of the critiques that we have spoken on multiple times here on this channel, and that many of us have spoken to and have spoken about on our own respective channels, right? I believe I have a few bullet points that I want to highlight here, and let's get into it. Green Party presidential candidate Dr. Cornel West told Fox News on Monday that his third-party bid is as serious as a heart attack and doubled down on comments he made, drawing into question President Biden's compassion for the Black community. West also claimed former President Donald Trump also has not been as much of a champion of minorities, but strongly criticized Biden's past relationship with segregationist Democratic senators. Once again, these are things that we've covered on here before. And if you go on to read this article, it just gives a few examples of the multiple times that Joe Biden in his past has praised, segregation, known segregationists and Klansmen, right? Here's a point that I have highlighted here. It says, on Hannity, West confirmed he is accusing Biden of crimes against humanity against African Americans, as reported by the New York Post, right? So here's the thing concerning Cornel West and everyone's excitement surrounding his presidential run, right? All these things sound great, and all of these things sound good. Cornel West is saying all of the right stuff as it pertains to him addressing Black Americans and seemingly holding Joe Biden accountable for his lack of compassion for Black Americans, and holding him accountable for simply just window dressing, putting Black faces in high places, but not delivering substantive changes. He's saying all the right things. But what this all ultimately boils down to for me, and mind you all, I like Cornel West. I've said this multiple times before, right? Before some of you get upset, because I know there's some of you, you know, in the live chat that like Cornel West. I've said this multiple times before. I do like Cornel West. I always have liked Cornel West. Don't have anything against the brother. But with him now running for president, the same energy and critiques that he had for Barack Obama, and the same energy and critiques that I have for almost the entire Democratic Party, is the same energy that I have to keep for Cornel West. So then the question then stands, Cornel West, after saying all of this, after saying all the things that you said, what are you going to do about it? And that is where the problem lies. The problem lies there that he hasn't stated what he's going to do about it concerning Black America and their issues with the Democratic Party, their issue with Joe Biden, and the things that need to be done to make the proper corrective changes in the Black community. He hasn't stated anything. Can anyone please tell me what Cornel West is actually going to do about all these things that he has spoken on concerning Black America and their relationship with Joe Biden? Now, mind you, he hasn't said much. He said a little bit. He hasn't gone into detail. He hasn't even really gone in and really dug deep into critiquing Biden the same way he did for Barack Obama. He's actually been taking it easy on Joe Biden. If we're being honest, if we're being completely honest, he's been taking it easy on Joe Biden, been going in the way that he did for Barack Obama, right? He's been taking it easy. And even in taking it easy, the question stands, brother, what next? What are you going to do? People love to ask people like myself, right? People watch this video and they're fans of Cornel West. They love him. And they'll hear what I'm saying and they'll say, well, what's the solution? What do you think that he should do about it? I'm not the one running for president. What should he do about it? Is he telling you what he's going to do? He's the one running for president, yet hasn't given you any answers yet to the problems that lie at the feet of Black Americans. Now, hear me clearly. If he's just simply running as a third-party progressive candidate, that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to acknowledge Black America. Just run as a progressive third-party candidate. That's what RFK is doing. RFK is not a third-party candidate, right? He's a Democrat. But RFK doesn't speak to Black Americans at all. I don't think he's acknowledged Black America not one time. Somebody please tell me in the comment section, any of you who follow RFK, if he's even said the word Black American once. You know, put a thumbs up. Let me take a page out of Rob from Blacklight Revelations book. If you've heard Robert F. Kennedy Jr., if you heard RFK say at least one word about Black America, give me a thumbs up. If not, give me a thumbs down, right? Drop a thumbs up emoji if you've heard him say something about Black Americans. Put a thumbs down emoji if he hasn't said anything about Black Americans. I haven't heard RFK Jr. say anything about Black America, and that's perfectly fine. I don't need you to say anything about Black folks if you're not going to do anything about if you're not going to do anything for Black Americans. Just run as a generic kind of Democratic Party candidate. And I see the thumbs down are coming in. But when it comes to Cornel West and anybody else, as soon as they start talking that Blacc talk, as soon as they start talking about how Cornel West said Joe Biden has committed crimes against humanity towards the African American community, the question then stands, okay, so what are you going to do about it? And just like with the Democratic Party, unfortunately, when it comes to Cornel West, it's crickets. It's crickets. And that's really unfortunate. It really is, because, like I said earlier, I like Cornel West. I always have. Always have. But, I hear him saying these things, and then, I go back to his presidential platform. I go to his website over here, and we're in the issues portion, and I just see a generic progressive presidential candidate. That's all I see here. Create true democracy, revitalize our economy, Medicare for all, end the wars, expand civil liberties, protect the environment. All that is great. That's all cool. It's fine and dandy. I'm not mad at that if that's what he's running on. But if that's what you're running on, if Cornel West is running as a generic progressive third-party candidate, then just run on that and leave all the Blacc stuff alone. But if you're going to talk that Blacc talk, then I'm going to need you to give me solutions and answers to what you're going to do about all these issues plaguing the Blacc community. And if you can't do that, then I'm going to need you to be quiet. Plain and simple. I'm not trying to hear it. All of that Joe Biden is committing crimes against humanity towards Black Americans. Yeah, okay, bro, that sounds good, but you have no solutions towards what you're going to do about it. So at the end of the day, me personally, I'm not trying to hear it. And I'm sure you all are not trying to hear it as well. And with all that being said, that does it for today's live stream. So as you exit today's show, there are 476 of you in here right now. Please hit the like button on your way out. Please hit the like button on your way out if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. And also share this video out on your social media platforms. And lastly, as well, once again, if you become a channel member, you will have access to the full interview that I did with Councilman Ja'Cory Arthur a couple months back. I released a clip of it earlier this week, Monday. This was the clip that I released. I believe it was Monday or Tuesday, called The Power and Importance of Local Politics. But if you become a channel member, you can watch the full interview in its entirety for channel members only.
You already know he's
I want to
talking
thank
about
you
the
all
end
for
of it.
joining me today.
Stop it now.
I want to thank those who contributed
It's
to
the
today's
end of it.
stream. And I will catch you guys on the next live stream. Have a great evening and a safe one. Peace.
Shout out to you, Bob. Great. Let's move forward.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts?
Well, can you come on camera, Gus? I don't want to talk to myself.
You're not talking to yourself. Just talk.
Just turn the camera on, Gus. Thank you. I think is if you really want to know why I'm mad between me and you, you should know. Okay? This right here is off top. Well, aside from, I didn't really look at the website, because I just didn't have to. I watch a lot of interviews. So when Cornel West is talking, and he's talking about Black stuff, now he's the only candidate that voluntarily talked about reparations. The only one. And so that right there was off top was important. Number two, he at least he's giving them that fight. He's giving them something to fight about, or he's upsetting the balance. I keep in mind, family, we asked for this. We asked specifically for a Black candidate to stand up there and run as a third party. Let's not get it twisted. We asked for this, and it manifested itself into Cornel West. You know what I mean? And however it rolls out, just keep in mind, family, we manifested it somehow. So the best thing to do instead of just automatically jumping the gun and acting like he's this and he's that. We need to support him and help him out any way we can. Send that dude a message or something. You know what I mean? Seems like he looks like he reads his messages. He's been on all over these interviews, and he's just been tearing these interviews up. Even when heavy journalists try to tear him down and discredit him, he's been actively just giving it like a real fighting chance. Unlike all these other candidates that already have a answer prepared, you can see he's getting frustrated. You can see he's getting upset. And just keep in mind, family, we asked for this. We asked for the two-party system to come to a fucking implosion. We're done with it.
Yeah.
We're done with the Democrats. We're done with this. We're done with that. We needed a third party, right? We wanted a third party. So now that we got one, we can't just, shit on it. Because, I meant to keep notes to ourselves that this is a manifestation of us. It just happened to be him. Okay? Just stepped up and answered the call. Now, and like I think about myself, third party candidate, right? I think about myself, and I think that if you really wanted your third party candidate to win, you do everything in your fucking power to get with that third party candidate and to help them win. Instead of fucking throwing out these ideas of what you think is gonna make a win, you actually reached out, tapped in, and talked to them directly. You know what I'm saying? So you can't lay blame at their feet like you're setting it up for it now. You know what I mean? Oh, Cornel, kooky as he is, charming guy is on the right path. And as you can see, it's to TD Hip Hop's fucking story right there. Black people are trending in the right direction of where we want to go. So this is a manifestation that we created. We manifested this. It just happened to be in him. Crazy turn of events, but you always get exactly what you want, right? But you get what you need. Now, if we were all smart and on code, and we all wanted the one thing we've been saying we wanted all this time, third party candidate, fuck them, then we would do everything in our power to reach out and help him get on code. Help him. Only make sure that he does something specifically for Black Americans, considering he's a Black American. So it's nice and dandy for him to be inclusive. We can't take that out of him. He's been inclusive. It's the way he is. But it would be helpful for us to reach out to him and give him the business and give him an adequate education and the right direction for the remaining parts of the voting. Or whatever he's lacking. You know what I mean? So that would behoove us, Black America, to do that. Is to put our resources and our intellect and our knowledge and our conversation into that person directly. And then I say that too, even for me as a third party candidate. You're so tired of the two party system. Do your best to reach out and tap in with that person if you really want them to succeed for your better interests. Help them or don't. But you can't blame them for it if you didn't help them. See what I'm saying? Go ahead, Jesse. I'm ready. Can we just shut this down, please? You're nodding off.
Yeah. All right. So Black family, we're gonna cut this show short, unfortunately.
We got a big day tomorrow. We'll be back. We promise we'll be back.
Yeah.
Let me start early.
I don't know how early, but yeah.
You getting up at 6, cuz you're leaving by 6. You gotta go by 6. Ta-ta for now.
Yeah, so we didn't get to the topics of reptilians, reptiles, the Republikkkans. They want to pass bill to ban reparations, black family. We got them shook. Democrats.
What are you talking about?
That's the topic, Lady Che.
The name of the topic is called Reptilians.
The Republikkkans. We just call them the Reptilians because please stop interrupting me so I can close this out. Demorats are in trouble. FBA, black men not pleased with Biden. Jim Crow Biden supporters still waiting on you. Mike Johnston, this elected the 46th mayor of Denver, Colorado, and has an inauguration on Monday. And one half of Team Parris was present and filmed the event. Carlee Russell Situation in Alabama. And Unhoused Neighbor News and Unhoused Neighbor Suite. So join us at a later time for part 2, because apparently there's going to be a part 2 now of season 3, episode 16. So stay tuned for that. We'll see y'all later on today now. Peace. Light. Reparations.
Can I get my closing? Jesus.
And black empowerment. Go ahead, Lady Che. What are you going to close out with?
Obviously, the Stay Black and Dangerous. And I'll be back too. I'm just really disappointed. Really disappointed. However, one thing for sure. That we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do about this this Denver shit. As far as like the Denver city is concerned, I don't even know why you bother now. Like why you even bother? Because you just are ooh, yeah. Stay Black, Stay Dangerous to show up tomorrow. Catch the rest of the remaining part. I probably won't be here. I got an event to go to. Oh, real. Try to get some stuff done. But depending on what time it is and where I'm at, join us for the second part of this show for Light Black News, which I feel like disappointing you guys. Anyway, so Stay Black, Stay Dangerous, and don't forget Chewbacca's Black Experience. It has Tuesdays on Blog Talk. And I was gonna do an RV today, but Jesse wouldn't let me, so she missed out, and plus it stole my topics. So, oh well. So you just have to watch tomorrow. You can only catch a third of it instead of the whole thing. Anyway, I'm done. Yeah, shut it off.
All right. Thank you, Lady Che, for those closing words.
And the 2A, thanks for the viewers who watched. I saw you, little eyeballs. I saw you.
Listen. So stay black, stay dangerous, stay empowered, and keep your head on a swivel, black family. We are at war.
Definitely.
Peace. Light, reparations, separations, and black empowerment. We'll see y'all later on today.
Bye, people. Bye.